Did this book deserve a part 3? Nope! But we're doing it anyway. Why? Because I want to. I want to harm this book. Hey there, everyone, and welcome to probably the least fair Dice Scum live we're ever going to do. The name's Adam.
How you doing, you all? My name's Big Polyamory. I think we've probably put more time, effort, and thought into this book than the original author did. I don't know how to feel about that.
And I'm Imsit, and we're finally ending Iron Eagle.
We're taking it
Thankfully.
out to the shed and just putting it down like Old Yeller.
I was gonna say take it
We're
out and bury it like where the Eisengrappen, but I think that's too offensive even for me.
Yeah, that joke needs to be Action T Ford, man. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's clearly defective.
Yeah. So, last we left everybody is the history of this wonderful setting developed by a furry Nazi, in which somehow America does not get involved in the war, World War II. Japan completely probably does a bit of a genocide in China.
I mean, they
The
basically unleashed a nothing but anthrax bombs in Unit 731, and they still couldn't
yeah,
defeat China.
uh,
no, guys. They were able to win with the indomitable spirit of the samurai.
I thought it was because
They
they
were able
had
to regress
Tetsujin
back.
28.
yeah.
They
The
regress back to the shogun, and that's how
mhm.
they won. That's
The
how
other
they're
thing is
winning the
that
fight.
Germany ended up taking over all of Europe, uh, and is now in a peace or semi-peace with the Soviets.
Which is one of
No,
the
that's not true.
dumbest things possible.
I like to say that's untrue. A little bit. It looks like Switzerland. It's still neutral because fuck it,
Switzerland
why
was still
not?
neutral. And there's a bunch of other weird stuff. Go
I
back to
mean,
our
we
last
could, we
video.
could just
If you
go
want to
back
be
to the
a,
map. It's not a big deal. We're literally 2 pages away from it if we really... Oh, wait, no, we're more than that. I don't want to go
Yeah,
back to that. Nah,
no, we're not.
fuck that.
We're starting off
also,
with the details on the entirety of the various countries.
Yep, welcome to the New Order of Europe, the overview. The New Order of Europe is the name given to the Union of European Nations, which arose in the aftermath of the German War of Liberation. So, just like in real life, the Germans still wanted a European Union. Why? Hell if I know. Also, there's no way in hell that a Germany that has dominated Europe would allow Switzerland, which has a bunch of ethnic Germans, and Sweden, which are seen as Nordic, to stay neutral. The reason they didn't go after Sweden was specifically because they kind of needed the tungsten. No, I'm confusing that with Portugal. But they needed Sweden because it allowed them to get high quality iron. They don't need to worry about that after kicking the Soviets' teeth in.
Yeah. The other thing that's fascinating about this is the fact that despite Germany completely controlling all of its member nations, it somehow is a union.
Yeah, that's the
You
weird
know,
part. Like, why? What's the whole point of this new order system if it's essentially one hyper? I don't know. I think this is just an attempt to do an EU thing without really understanding the mechanics. Because for those curious, the European Union was founded on coal.
and
Like the
it
Shardy, it
was
was founded on coal.
it was an
you
economic.
stole my joke. Fuck you.
Well, uh, let's see. Yeah, you got complete free travel and trade across the Union. You control the
The
entirety
the
of Europe,
the
almost the
hyper no no
entirety of
no
Africa.
the totalitarian, highly nationalistic system. And reminder, there is an actual ethnicity of or should I say species of animal that looks very similar to another species of animal that they can disguise themselves as. But free motion is still allowed here. Yeah, I believe you. I don't think
Also,
that Nazi Germany would
I
totally
want to
not have that.
I want to add that with the fact that they control the entirety of Africa.
Yeah, they didn't think that shit through, did they?
So where do you think all the black people are moving to?
Germany, of course, just like in our
Where the
timeline.
economy and the jobs are, uh, and all the good shit.
So
Wow.
let's just say that in this
These
timeline, the 1950s France is probably more rhino than chicken now. And
this
no,
is a
that's not
utopia.
bigoted. That's based on actual French. So here's the weird thing: France has a very strong civic nationalism, which is why this actually kind of happened. And Portugal has the same thing, actually, if you're curious.
I would like just to say for the record, I'm very glad that because the Nazis won, we're in a very progressive universe now.
Oh yeah,
We have
these
our
are probably the most
borders.
woke Nazis we've ever seen, man.
Yeah. And now diplomacy. Most have entered willingly to the promise of Germany's protection,
Oh
which means
please.
it's not a union, it's a protectorate.
Except for
If
Italy and Britain,
Italy
because for whatever reason, France is now independent, even though France collapsed instantly and was held at knife point by the Germans.
Also, South Africa and Rhodesia are self-governing allies who are member nations,
So,
as well as
oh God, Rhodesia.
Oh God.
Do you
we're
want me to
Rhodesians.
spurg about Rhodesia?
No, we won't fight
I was
through
about
thick
to
and
say.
thin.
I was about to
We'll
say, is this
surrender
the
completely
South
to the
African?
Germans.
I was about to say, is this the South African Boers, like the British or the Boers? What's the South Africans we're dealing with here?
I don't think that this guy thought it through. Because
No.
here's the other thing about Rhodesia. Rhodesia was never actually that viable of a nation. It fucking wasn't. It was held together by essentially South Africa and Israel propping them up.
Yeah.
And
Now,
the reason is, so here's the thing. A lot of people would immigrate to Rhodesia because they had they had this policy to try to invite new people in. But the problem is whenever they entered Rhodesia, they would take a look at it and say, "The hell am I staying here for? I fucking leave."
Guy von Dusman, this is the Reich Nick Fuentes wants.
I mean,
No,
you're
no,
not
no, no.
wrong.
There are cats, but there are no cat boys. That's the problem.
No, there are cat boys, and you can also. Here's the best part about the setting: you can struggle snuggle them until they go from normal to gay. And no,
You're right. You're right.
that is not me saying the normal thing. That's how this book describes it.
Yeah. Now, additionally, Jerusalem was established in the Holy Land as a haven for Christians to settle in. Now, the map doesn't show Jerusalem as just the city. No. It includes Jordan and Lebanon.
So,
Wow, I wonder what happened to the Arabs and the Jews that lived there.
what are you talking about? Lebanon at this period was actually majority Christian.
Would they still be Arab or
They are Arabs. The
no?
Lebanese were
I,
Maronites, which are a type of Christian that's loosely related to the Oriental Orthodox churches.
oh, so someone must have genocided the people there.
Well, I mean, they're not the right type of Christian, but it doesn't really matter because the Nazis didn't really care about that stuff. There's a reason that they tried to suborn the Catholic Church with their own version called positivism.
When it came to black people and Arabs and the Nazis, it got weird, man.
I mean, they were
Oh,
okay with Muslims, but
yeah.
anyone else, nah, man. Unless you were
So
fighting
they
their
also
enemies.
control Guyana because I don't know what that is because there is no country on earth that is spelled Guiana. There is one called Guyana.
Oh, yeah, French. Here's the thing: he was trying to spell French Guinea. I think he was trying to spell French Guinea.
No. French Guyana. That it's in Latin America or South America to be more
Oh yeah,
appropriate.
I know about French Guyana, but it could also be French
No,
Guinea in West Africa.
no, it was because he's used it and referenced it on the map as entirely being from the eastern portion of South America.
I just think it's comical that they have control over Indochina.
Hey, good luck fighting the Vietnamese.
Actually, yeah, that's really weird. It's 1959, and how many? Okay, here's my question.
Ho Chi Minh's murdering some Nazis.
No, here's my question. How many hundreds of thousands of Germans have been sent to die in the fucking rice paddies and rainforests of Indochina?
That should be the alt setting. Nazis versus the what would it be?
Well, here's the other thing. In this timeline, my guess is, did the Soviets die? If they didn't, it could still be communist, but the Vietnamese national movement was only communist because it was the solution to actually get support. They were nationalists first.
Wait. American-backed Vietnamese nationalists versus Nazi colonialists.
No, you forgot the best part of all, and then you have the Japanese Empire contemplating stepping in.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Did they?
No, the Japanese are the ones that caused the Khmer Rouge in this setting.
What were you gonna say, Biggs?
was about to say, did they what was the status of Vietnam in the lore in here? Did they say the Germans went there? Or did they just say
So
No.
basically,
fucking
France
Germans
got
Here's the hint.
destroyed so
He-
badly.
yeah.
No, here's the France died so fucking hard that they did not have de Gaulle, I guess. So what happened is this guy doesn't understand that in 1940, Charles de Gaulle was like a guy with maybe one colony. Most of the French agreed with the idea that, yeah, we got our asses kicked in the war. We'll just rebuild, try to get in Germany's orbit, and then try to backstab him later. That was the original point of the French state. They were not really friends with the Germans because they have had at least nearly a century of rivalry with them, for fuck's sake. And B,
I do want to say,
they lost a war in land.
yeah. Here's the hint to say to Vietnam. It's called Indochina.
Also,
They are not
again,
independent.
I covered we covered this in the previous part, which there's an entire playlist on our channel if you really want to watch this as like one long piece. But
It'll get you through the workday.
essentially, there is no reason the Japanese wouldn't just do what they already. In our timeline, what happened was they sent guys there because hey, guess what? Indochina's really good at growing. It's a thing called fucking rubber. Do you know how useful rubber is to a war economy? Do you know how useful rubber is in general?
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, it's just tires. We can just use steel instead for the wheelite.
Yeah, just use
Also-
wheels. Just use steel wheels
also-
on cars, man.
I think this actually hints then that essentially Africa is still colonies because Argentina is the sole non-European member of the order.
Wait,
Why did
no. It's even stupider than that. So South Africa and Rhodesia are included.
they're allies
No.
who are
They're part of the New Order, technically, which means that by their own logic, Africa is part of. We have the Afro-European Alliance.
the Eurasian Nazis or the Afro-Eurasian Nazis?
Oh no, they're Eurasianist Nazis. They've inherited ideas from Russia again, which is not the first time the Nazis stole from the Russians.
Hey,
No,
they stole the
seriously, if
anti-Semitism.
you're curious, the whole Zionist-occupied government shit, Russian
Yeah,
invention. Protocols of Zion, written by a Russian. Some of the
They stole the-
earliest
they stole the
writers
idea-
for policies, Russian.
They stole the genocide. They stole the stealing from the poor.
It's actually
they-
quite impressive.
Yeah. Now,
reminder, they see these people as subhuman, but then they stole all their stuff, so what does that put them at?
yeah. Now, onto the communists. So they are now the Comintern.
Well, no, okay,
Now,
so Comintern is a real thing. It means Communist International. He got
yeah.
this right. No, here's the thing. It is Communism International. The thing is, though, that Communism International went the way of the dodo because after World War II, Stalin kind of threw it out and invented something new called Comecon. And the thing is, it's called the Third International because there were two other internationals before them. And here's the other thing. There's also a Fourth International, which was started by Trotsky, and the Second International wasn't quite dead yet at this point. That one's called the London Bureau, if I recall. The First International is called that mainly because that's where the anarchists and the communists tried to get to an agreement with themselves and other socialists, and it resulted in Marx kicking out Bakunin of the anarchists. Also, here's another weird fun fact about anarchists. Yeah, a lot of them were very surprisingly, horrendously anti-Semitic. You should read up some of the crazy shit Bakunin said about Jews, man.
Where does the French Commune fit into the Internationale?
They genuinely were just inspired by it because they never really had enough time to kind of craft a government.
But
Guy von Dudstein. Stalin did found Comecon, technically.
Yeah.
Now, one of the interesting things I wanted to, just a little aside that
I pronounced it. I Rich Evans again. Econ. Communist Economy Building Project or whatever.
I was about to say what was always funny about international meetings is it was basically just them like listing out their grievances, And there was like one too, where it was like some dumb bitch from like American Party Communist USA that was just bitching about Tito. It's like, how dare he go down the third way and not support Moscow fully independently? Fuck that guy.
Yeah, here's the thing: you either were a shill for Moscow or a shill for Beijing. One or the other, really.
Yeah. So, the Comintern in this setting pretty much is controlled by the Soviet Union,
Yeah, that's fair.
and they tend to not allow people from other nations to visit or leave their home country.
It's actually worse than that. So here's a fun fact. I know Khrushchev changed this, but in the Soviet Union, you needed to have a passport to leave your own home. To leave your own home oblast or region.
Hmm.
Like to leave an oblast, cryer, you needed passports and you needed permissions. You usually had to do this by working through a certain ministry, depending on what you were doing.
Oblast is always such a weird word for me when describing like, I don't know, like a Russian state, because it kind of makes it sound like they're living in ruins.
Well,
Well,
oblast
they are.
is
It's
Oblast.
it
Russia.
mean it means like an exclave, and it's usually more related to cities. Then there's krais, which are called territories, and then there's a with the Soviet Union. So the Soviet Union is a complicated nightmare of a state because there's the Federated Socialist Soviet Republic of Russia, or SFSR. Then there are the SSRs, which are the Soviet Socialist Republics, and then there's the ASSRs, which were the Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republics. Which, fun fact, there was one for the Volga Germans until Barbarossa happened. And then there's like other things. It is a nightmare to read.
So, their diplomacy, though, uh, only allows them to trade amongst themselves because they've abolished all forms of currency.
That's nonsense. So the Soviet Union as a concept, so communism as a concept, one of the ideas behind it was to get rid of currency, but this depended on what type of communist you asked. This is more of a concept of left communism and Italian style communism.
And in this version of the Comintern, they've somehow flipped Peru and Nigeria to communism.
So Peru's
You know,
interesting.
very hold on, wait, very smaller nations.
Well, Peru's an interesting one because I don't see Peru going full communist. I think he's trying to be funny with Shining Path, which were if you're curious about Shining Path, we've talked about them before. They would boil babies because their parents were reactionaries. But Peru did have a pretty interesting socialist aligned party called I forget the name of the party, but it's like Alliance for like Peru or whatever. It's called APRA. And one of the early incarnations of APRA was the belief of unifying all of South America together into one super state.
Did they not know their history?
They wanted to essentially succeed where Bolivar failed, yes.
I was about to say, yeah, Grand Colombia, baby.
Yeah.
Gran Colombia,
So
Viceroyalty of Peru
I,
and Bolivia. That's another one people forget about.
I just want to say too. Okay, so Peru, but in this fucking map, they're like surrounded by like the rest of the fucking like South America. What if just like the rest of South America gang up just to like put them down? Because like, yeah, fuck those guys.
Plus, on top of that, a better choice would have. Okay, let's mention it. Brazil,
Brazil.
especially because in the late 50s, you had João Goulart, who essentially did believe in socialist policies. He did get overthrown by the military, but you could have had the Soviets intervene and basically forced him to pivot leftward. That's one
Yeah,
thing you could have done.
that would have thrown things for a loop.
Also, Nigeria going to communism is one of the dumbest things you could do, mainly because Nigeria is not really a functional state at this point because it was
No.
divided between North and South. It still isn't exactly the most functional state. It would make more sense for Ghana to flip to communism. Or alternatively, if you're going full dirty war, maybe kick the Portuguese out and have them like liberate Angola.
And
Or
and go. Well, do you think this guy actually knows anything about Africa?
good point. This is a guy who thought that Rhodesia was a viable nation.
Now, the Comintern is not at war with the Nazis, or the New Order in this case. They're at war with NATO. Now, what
No.
is NATO in this case? It is not the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It is instead the North American Treaty Organization,
You know for a
which
fact
is
that that's what he thought that it actually meant.
which is the alliance of the North United States, the Confederate United States, American Greenland and its extended territories, as well as the Empire of Australia and Mouseland.
Oh boy.
So, the reason for America being like this is they used the isolationism as an excuse to seize Greenland and Canada once Denmark and England fell, and then decided to split the states into two to better manage things. The Confederate
What?
States would then march to Panama.
So
Yes. What the fuck?
there's many things that I could say that are what the fuck. Number one, in World War II, the U.S. actually got control over Greenland for a while. It was part of a power arranging agreement with the fucking British. I'm not even kidding. That was like part of the Lend-Lease concept. We were giving basing rights over like Iceland and shit. Also, on top of that, they should have Iceland. It should be technically it shouldn't even be called American Greenland. It should be called the government in exile of Denmark or Iceland or something, which is nonsense. Number two, we've covered this in the previous one because this was brought up. There is no functional reason other than just you really like to see a guy dressed in field gray and singing about Dixie as, I don't know, you contemplate him undressing for some fucking gay cowboy eating pudding style scenario. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. There's no real
I
functional reason to have the Confederacy in here.
and why would they march south? Why would they?
Because Timeline 191 did that because they tried to invade Mexico.
Is this the fucking
Th-
plan for those slavers?
This is
This is the other
literally
thing. Why call it the Confederacy?
because he's an idiot and he's trying to
That
steal from alt
implies.
history. This
Yeah.
is actually a really common bad alternate history concept. I usually only see this garbage though when we're talking about a steampunk era, like Deadlands actually, like bad Deadlands fan fiction would also do this.
But now that we brought up the idea of the horror that would be the Confederate States returning in the 1950s, let's move on to prejudice.
Oh yeah, what you don't want to see the second iteration? Oh, actually, would it be the second or third? Because there are three incarnations of the KKK.
This still would be the second.
Oh, the one
And
that was so
the sec
powerful. The one that was
the,
so powerful, Detective Comics had to invest heavily in a radio broadcasting program to destroy their reputation with Superman because they were so powerful that they had actual fucking senators on side.
I think it'd be Action Comics. I don't know if Batman went up against the Klan. That would be a
Detective
fun.
Comics, Action Comics, it's the same thing.
That would be a fun comic, though.
That would actually be something I could see Batman doing. That's kind
Just
of neat.
as they're burning the cross, you see the shadow of the bat
Oh
rising.
God, that's actually amazing.
And remember, this is 40s Batman. He can kill.
In fairness, Batman got rid of his killing rule, I think, legitimately within his first year of publishing. But
All
that
right,
would have been
well,
great.
yeah. But so in Prejudice, in this case, it's still quite the discriminatory place based on nationality.
Yeah, but it doesn't really seem to matter when it comes to player characters because we looked at your stupid social credit rules and you could we actually, well, we didn't. Notepad Anon had a guy in Discord do it, which we gave credit to in the previous episode. You can run a lesbian Jewish mouse girl. While you couldn't be an officer, you could definitely be respected enough to actually get some of the better classes. So if you wanted to, you could just pilot a tank as a lesbian mouse girl, even though
Yep.
that you should be killed on sight by their own logic.
As
I'm
well as
very
you might face discrimination for being gay, as that generally implies lack of manliness, and it meaning you will not contribute to having children.
well. I'm
However,
So
just very.
should we mention
Uh,
something about the main artist that this guy commissioned?
I mean, did,
we
did you
did
want to get
research.
into it?
Femboy porn.
Yeah.
We're gonna leave it at that. I wonder what. But also,
Well,
racism as we know it does
right
not
winger.
really
I was just gonna
exist.
say, right wingers and gay pornography go together like peanut butter and chocolate, man.
Yeah. Racism as we know it today does not really exist in Iron Eagle.
What?
Hating any specific species is considered unusual. You know, only the magpies and mice are treated as such due to Nazi ideology.
No. Here's the problem. You're going with this, and then you can't go edgy and then try to walk back. Either you stick to a fucking lane, or you just don't do it.
You couldn't have gone specific subgroups. What's the classification? You go
Okay,
you go
here's my fucking rebuttal to
genus,
that.
like genus or phylum or whatever.
No.
Discrimination based on
Here's my
phylum.
rebuttal. You're going too hard. The Immigration Control Act, which banned East Asians from immigrating to the U.S. during the 1920s. The response to desegregation, based purely on skin color. How they handled the Chicano workers on the fucking fields in southwestern parts of the U.S. The French
Even
and
go
how they handled Jews because of the fucking Dreyfus affair. And keep in mind, some of the nastiest war crimes besides the Romanians were French.
the Soviets and how they handled
The doctor's plot.
ethnicity. Well, no, I'm not saying Jews. Ethnicity, which was, hey, we're going to take
Oh
all
yeah,
of one
Russian
ethnicity and
chauvinism.
put them in one country.
Well, not only that, but Russian chauvinism. Under Stalin, the Soviet Union actually got rid of Koreanization, which is the concept of trying to build a Soviet identity, and it just became Russia dominating again.
Yep.
Japan doing all the things Japan does.
Mm.
What they did with Korea, shit. You could write entire horror stories about that.
Can I just say I'm very happy for you, Imp, that you're able to play your gay little mouse girl that you've always wanted to be.
I
And you
I
can
don't want to
serve the
be a
right
gay
too while
mouse
doing
girl.
it. You did. You told that. You
Well,
told
no,
me how it would be
keep
cool
in
to have a
mind. Keep in mind that you could, if you wanted to, you could use your mouse character to correctively struggle snuggle into being gay.
I couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't be a lesbian. I'd have to just be a gay mouse.
You could use your gay mouse to rape Nick Fuentes and save America and save the world by
No. It's got to be Karl Donitz in this case, and Heinrich Himmler. So
Man.
now they bring up for the New Order. Just the Waffen SS was the most diverse army in our universe. The lands of the New Order are the most diverse in the world.
French Foreign Legion, which is an older institution by like at least a fucking century at this point.
Yeah. Now we will give the credit. The
Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Waffen SS took
No,
in
no.
groups from
Here's the
anywhere, pretty
ultimate fuck.
much.
No, I need to keep shitting on this. The British fucking army. Because you had Highlanders, you had the Irish volunteer units. This was a generation prior. You had Canadians, you had Anzac, you had the Chindits, you had the Gurkhas, you had fucking Malay regiments, you had the King's Rifles of Africa. Are you fucking dumb?
Why is he dumb?
Well, their prejudice though is mainly against those that don't have children, political dissidents, pacifists, the extremely religious, and species of magpie and mice. I wonder where all of those, except for the first, ended up. I wonder where that prejudice led to.
Oh, they just sent them all
I
to
do
Mouse
too.
Land. Don't worry.
Now, NATO. Money. The only disdain is placed on the poor and communists, who most often happen to be poor, which is a fucking lie. Well, depending on if we're talking like
Communists as a
union
whole
workers.
tend to be middle class. Keep in mind that Karl Marx came from a relatively decent off family, and Engels was actually loaded, and that's the only reason Marx was able to get away with writing so much, because Engels fucking funded him. Out of the entire gang of the old Bolsheviks, I think I can count on one hand people who are actually proletariat. Most of them were middle class. Stalin was a rare fucking exception.
But
He was
Look how
one of
that
the
turned out.
very few people that
But Adam,
actually was pro.
have you considered that they're just very smart people that realize that they need to do something to save the world from the bourgeois that are going to exploit us all?
Actually, it's
Maybe
rather interesting that it really hasn't changed, because then you have up and coming social climbers like Hassan Piker who pretends he's communist.
I will say
Another thing I
at
was
least
like,
the Bolsheviks actually created a state.
I mean, it wasn't very functional, but it lasted a lot longer than most people expected.
Hey, in comparison to most communists, A for effort.
Yeah, you got to
I
give him credit.
mean,
Also,
let's
if
not
you're
focus on
wondering,
what
no,
happened.
there is one more thing. The reason it's written like this is because this is when he starts ripping off Fallout, because that's another thing he rips off heavily.
And Comintern, political rivals persecuted the church. Anyone who wants to start a business, accumulate possessions. Somehow the Soviets are now extreme anarcho-communists. I don't know how that's possible. Also, the
Okay.
anarcho-communists allow for private possessions.
So this was barely written out. This is like uncooked chicken that he just gives you to eat.
It's fucking raw.
It's not even like there's no cooking. There's no Maillard reaction. There's nothing.
So now we go to the life of Germany.
Oh,
The
are we
greater-
going to go into Dale? Oh boy. Okay, this is the
Yep.
actual reason I wanted to do this, because this
So,
is going to be pathetic.
Karl Donitz is leading the Greater German Reich. After the fighting during the dark days of Berlin, men and women enjoy more or less equal rights, at least on paper. Now, before you say anything, I'm going to go back to the last paragraph and read the following subsection. The current leadership attempts to keep the ideals of the old guard of the Nazi Party alive and well in their memory.
Okay.
Men and women enjoy more or less equal rights.
No. That's like one of the few things that has consistently always been a thing. No. Women and men have different roles in society. They might be able to do certain things together, but like, hey, remember that mechanic where you have to actually have like a fucking badge or something to be treated as an equal as a woman? Or to even serve in the military? And remember how that gives you a social rank? Yeah, this is nonsense. All member
Now,
nations of the Union of Europe join equal position except for Germany.
also,
No, are you fucking nuts?
emigrating from foreign nations is simple as one has skills they make use of and will swear an oath of fealty to the Nazi Party.
Open borders for Germany.
Yep,
For
Can-
Nazi Germany.
Nazi keeping their memories alive and well.
I'm just
I
what can you say about this, man?
It's like a bad joke.
It's comedy. It's actual fucking comedy.
And of course, we need to make sure those women are breeding.
Well, no,
Bronze for four
this is
children,
just the
silver-
writer's pregnancy
Yeah.
fetish, and you know it.
Yep. Now, hobbies.
So
Germany
did you
prides.
want me to?
Oh yeah,
Did
read
you
the
want
quote.
me to elaborate? No. Did you want me to elaborate more what our spy balloon was able to find in regards to this band's gooning fetish and about
Sure.
what the future might be? So the spy balloon. So the creator is very So for all of you that don't know, there was like a piece of artwork in here that we featured on the first one.
Oh
And the fucking
yeah,
thing went
the one with
viral.
the pregnancy poster.
Yeah, that fucking thing went viral, and the fucking author is ass mad that that went viral, but nobody knows about his stupid fucking game. So then his artist, who is a gay man, proposed, "Hey, why don't we just make more gooner porn? That way we'll probably get more eyes to the game." So that's how Nazis are gonna win the war. They're gonna just start making more pornography.
Also keep in mind that you're given the same respect as a war hero if you just have a lot of kids. Which
Keeping
hey, that
their
is
ideals
this.
alive and well.
Here's the thing. That is actually something the Germans did. You would get medals depending on how many kids you got as a woman. Like that was a thing the Nazis did actually.
Yep. Now, there's a big section on the hobbies, and Germany prides itself on being masculine in strength, taking part of violent sports such as boxing, medieval martial arts, hunting, and American football.
No.
American football
No, they would
in a
not play
country
American football.
that wouldn't have the fucking size for the stadiums and would be playing association football.
No, they would much prefer playing they would much prefer playing actual football, aka soccer.
It's that the acronym is association football.
They would much rather play soccer. I'm going to be blunt
Yeah.
with you. And here's
Well,
why.
yeah, no,
The
it's
Germans
the same thing.
invested heavily in that shit. Not as insanely as the Italians, which by the way, Mussolini once rigged a World Cup to ensure that he fucking won. I'm not even kidding. That actually happened.
Hey, it's not the World Cup if there isn't some blatant corruption.
Well, it's not just blatant corruption. It's to the point where I think he not only he threatened he threatened the referee with killing his family or something like that, just to ensure that I think this is actually how Brazil got cucked out of a win. Like the
So he's
Brazilians
got
were
wait, wait.
given.
So he's got the mentality of a Central American man who's really pissed that his local team isn't winning.
No, he just wanted to win to prove the Italian might, and I think it's because Italy spent a lot of money. It's the same reason that the 1936 Olympics, the Germans invested so hard in trying to win.
Now,
They would not be
artistically,
playing American football. They'd be
yeah.
soccer. Medieval martial arts is also pretty stupid. Um, actually, I'm trying to think. Like, what are
Why would
some
they do
hobbies they would
boxing?
do?
Well, we know what they won't
Well,
do
no,
because it's gay.
boxing's fair
Yeah,
because that was rather popular in Germany. Fisticuffs was a popular sport
yeah
in
they
Germany.
wouldn't do these gay things such as art, poetry, and tailoring. Except for engineering, architecture, and painting.
Well, actually, they
Painting
would.
somehow isn't art.
Well, they would because a lot of traditional landscapes and like myths it would depict like their creation, like what was it, the
Mhm.
Voluspa and shit. They would want to talk about like their national myths, like from back in the Viking periods and stuff.
No, that's gay.
I mean, it's not like the Nazis were obsessed with a past that they hallucinated.
Now, women are more lenient in the freedoms of what they're to do. They particularly do cleaning, cooking, dressmaking, and the arts. But now, more women are allowed to be interested in firearms and martial arts, feeding into the wider German warrior culture, keeping their ideals alive and well.
Well, in fairness, okay, let's be fair. Let's be fair. There is something to be said if you're gonna do like a goofy World War II setting where you have Nazi Germany. A very common thing is stuff like Ilse She Wolf and just like evil Nazi women in fucking spandex with a machine
Wait,
gun.
did they even. Hold on, I need to go back to the actual section where. No, they didn't make the Germans wolves. They made them dogs. I don't think they even made an Ilsa reference.
By the way, kudos to Angelo Arroyo. Yes, fencing would be rather popular because the gymnasiums had a lot of traditional sports. I'm just not quite familiar with this section, with this sort of stuff, mainly just because this was not the thing I really focused on when it came to, well, the World War II period. I know that they were into outdoor. I know they were into outdoors things, and well, I mean, the Hitler Jugend is essentially a corruption of the Scouts movement, which was very popular in Europe and America at the time.
Wait, no, they didn't. They did not make an Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS reference.
Do you really think that this guy would actually know what that is?
Considering how much of a gooner he is, probably.
He was too busy. He was too busy writing with one hand as his Borzoi C was being drawn.
That's just shameful, though.
Women are also more commonly found doing electronic work or computing. Yes and no. This was something that was pretty commonly done in the U.S. and the Soviet Union to a lesser degree. They had entire, not quite segregated, but they did have women computers, which is what the term was in like mathematics kind of stuff.
Now, crime and punishment.
Also,
So they
he's
have a
really going hard on the maternity. Like that's some
yeah.
pregnancy fetish shit, man.
So they have a hard, no-nonsense approach, as its police force is the Schutzstaffel.
No, no. The Schutzstaffel's entire purpose is to guard the Fuhrer, man.
The Schutzstaffel are now the police force.
And there's not more atrocities occurring than there should be. There should be a lot more
The
atrocities.
homeless have been eliminated.
Oh,
There's your
like that one
atrocity,
pledge
Adam.
that one pledge that British party committed to cutting homeless people in half.
Now, all phone calls were recorded and looked over at regular intervals by the Gestapo.
So they're wasting the Gestapo's time. Well,
It,
technically, intelligence is Abwehr. It wouldn't be
yep.
Gestapo.
So they probably boast a 0% crime rate, and not a single person is housed within its prison system because anyone found guilty of a minor crime is given a fine and community sentence. Anyone found guilty of a serious crime is summarily executed.
Okay. There is still a value in jails, and this is Nazi Germany. Wouldn't you want a work camp to concentrate people to work it off? Either in
Keeping their
blood or
ideals alive
death?
and well. Each citizen of Germany is given a card they must carry with them. This card is a unique code an officer can input into their computer to receive your information. In 1959.
I'm trying to think. No, there's no. Okay, so here's the thing. The concept of a microcomputer was only just becoming a concept. So, okay, history of computing time, because I need to go onto this. So, I know there's super science in this bullshit, and I know that this is because he's brainlessly copying Fallout, but
yeah,
computers in the late 50s were still
Were big.
mostly the size of rooms.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to do this.
What they would have instead is they would have the equivalent of passports that they would study just to see if there's any falsifications. That's not to say that computers couldn't be smaller due to magic. Well, remember, magic is a thing.
Wait.
Oh, that's
Hold on,
another thing.
yeah,
They're
magic's
not
a thing.
talking about magic at all.
Yeah, wait, hold one sec. Wait, with this.
What's their stance on magic? Like, is there a
So wait,
where
no,
where is
hold
the
on,
Nazi official? Where's the Gauleiter that covers magic?
Why the fuck are you including the computer when you could have just done the show me your papers? You know, sort of.
No,
sort of
show me
thing.
your papers. You give them the paper and they give it to the Raven, who does like a dark voodoo ritual summoning Satan to like analyze it for falsehoods.
Huh.
Like, you have magic and super science. Fucking use it.
Well, now we'll move on to the holidays. And as we all know, there's no party quite like the Nazi party, because they'll end up killing half of you.
The Nazi party. It's a party so knee-slapping, it wipes out, well, 60 million people each time they host an event.
Yeah. Now, they have Liberty Day, which is what they call the end of World War II.
Okay. They gather grilled hot dogs. Yeah, Nazi Germany. German cuisine, hot dogs.
Fried schnitzel, beer, and unhealthy snacks of all types.
Schnitzel is always fried.
Keeping their ideals alive and well.
Hot dogs? What are you talking about? It'd be bratwurst. It'd be bratwurst. It'd be sausages.
That's what happened to the mice in Germany.
Where's the pickled fish? Where's the black bread?
Now we have Oktoberfest, which is just a drinking party.
By the way, Oktoberfest is more of an American thing, man.
Yep. Mother's Day, February 15th.
Double fried. Guy von Dudenstein. Now the schnitzel's double fried.
And All Heroes Day, a memorial of fallen leaders and soldiers, on July 20th.
Okay.
VF Day, which is Victory in France, held on June 25th. VI Day, Victory in Italy.
VF Day is a big celebration. France is their best ally. So every year, they have a big celebration going, we fucking brutalized and destroyed your pussy, France. We struggle snuggled you into loving us.
The same thing for VI Day, the 1-week war in which Germany overthrew the Italian leadership and absorbed the nation to its own like it did with France.
German citizens, okay, so they'll somehow tour Venice and not get shot. Okay.
Yep. And they reenact gladiatorial combats.
Even Mussolini wasn't dumb enough to revive that.
Unity Day, which is the union of the British Crown with the German Reich.
What?
The third Friday of March.
Oh, okay, brotherhood.
Yep. And then Hitler's birthday, which includes
Germans enjoying fish and French fries. He couldn't even be arsed to do fish and chips.
Oh my god.
They're called chips, bruv. They're bloody chips. Fries? What are you, bloody Belgian? The fuck is wrong with you, mate?
Now,
what's next? You're gonna call crisps chips? You fucking nonce. He's not a nonce.
So, there are documentaries that run 24 hours on repeat on the History Network for Hitler's birthday.
That's a meme. This is actually his attempt at doing a meme.
A meme, despite the fact that there'd be 3 fucking channels, I think, at this point.
Oh, by the way,
they weren't even doing documentaries at that point.
They slammed the History Network. So they did a History Network meme because back in the day, the History Channel used to be the World War II channel. That's the meme he's copying very
Ah,
poorly. And then he
yeah.
then
So,
decides to ruin it further by doing these stupid sticky note memes. Never did understand what's up with those French fries. Tommies call them chips, Yanks call them freedom fries, and the French say they didn't even invent them. Except the thing is, the French sometimes claim they do. There's actually an argument between them and Belgium over that because the French actually have a recipe called pommes frites, fried potatoes.
I think that's just supposed to be like a funny throwaway gag.
probably. So,
Oh, this was
I
an
realized
attempt
there's
at comedy?
so many fucking holidays in the first 6 months of the year.
Also notice that he's inventing all of these holidays. He put more effort into doing
Why?
that than
Yeah.
actually going into some basic details about maybe they could go into details like what do the Hitler Youth do? What are some things like what's the structure of Germany's economic system? Like their
Well,
Gauleiters and
yeah.
stuff.
Well, actually, they do bring up now the German modern military.
Oh God.
So, uh, they're form a unit out of one particular Wunderwaffen and use more conventional, less advanced machinery to give it backup support.
This is actually one of the reasons they struggled.
Yep. German infantry now wear pretty much medieval knight armor
Oh
that can
no,
deflect
there's one more
bullets.
shit post I want to bring up. So most of those older models that are in this book for basically no reason, even though this is 1950s era war, they're sold off to mercenary companies and then dragged back. So basically, they're just pulling what Russia does.
Yep. Now, the German
This is the
armored
equivalent of
division.
trying to pull back a bunch of T-55s from like North Korea to resupply yourself with fucking
Yeah. Now,
tanks.
the German armored division primarily is one Mouse tank or super heavy tank, two Tiger twos, and a Jagd Tiger as support.
Good luck
Scout
getting that
squads.
shit across
Yep.
bridges, or
Yep.
good luck
Of
getting
hampered.
across muddy terrain.
The Luftwaffe is primarily dominated with armored zeppelins and helicopters.
This is dog shit.
Oh, that's crap. Now we'll move on to life in Italy. Italy is no longer ruled by the Italians. After their failure in North Africa, it's now been taken over by Germans under the Grand Council of Fascism. Below them are Italians.
So, okay, for those of you curious on what this means, what Germany has decided to do, besides just annexing it, basically, in hypothetical, like just the way they handled it, all of the people that are in charge of Italy are from South Tyrol. You know that little part of northern Italy that speaks German? They're all being recruited from there and being shoved up top and basically throwing out night. Italy should be a seething network of hatred, and they should
Oh
have a
yeah,
massive communist problem. Because remember, this is the same
years of
country.
fucking lead.
Not only that, but remember how Mussolini got in power in the first place? The Bien Rosso, the 2 years of just communist rampaging in Italy.
Um,
It actually was bad enough that there is an alternate timeline where Italy could have easily gone communist, and you could have had Togliatti run it.
uh, the Italians are looked as lazy and weak. This is something the Italians
Lazy
take
and
offense to,
weak.
but cannot disprove. As we
No.
see in a quote here from a local Italian man, it's like my cousin, Fat Tony, always been saying, a boss that day keeps the doctor away. At the very least, keeps those Germans from recruiting us on account of being overweight. Ain't that right, Tone?
So okay, what he's doing, because he doesn't actually understand the Italians at all, is he's basing it on Italian Americans, which are the lowest common denominators of Italians, because they have no fucking connection to it. They're 5 generations out, and they want to scream and insist that they understand Italian cooking better than people that are actually from the region. To the point
Hey,
where they will fucking cry if you break spaghetti, which is why I advocate for anyone who watches this, snap your spaghetti in half. Do it. Not because it
wait,
makes your dish better, but
hold
because
on.
fuck Italian Americans and their bullshit half and half bull nightmare. They are the original Mexican Americans in that regard. Fuck them. Fuck them. But just straight up about life in Italy. So Italy is a puppet state that should be seething.
Hold on.
Oh, are you
I've got
getting
it.
drunk? I don't blame you.
Nope. I've got the pasta.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Suffa,
Hopefully I don't make
Italy.
that mess. Here we go. This is for you, Italy.
Oh no!
Mamma
Anyone hear that?
mia.
I did.
All right. Well, that'll be clean up for tomorrow.
Fantastic.
I would like to state for my father, who always makes spaghetti. Why did you never use onions in the spaghetti, father? That was the only sin he ever committed with spaghetti.
That is actually weird because onions are a very common element in most red sauces in Italy.
Evidently, he says it makes him shit bad. I don't know.
No?
It's been a love. This has been a great conversation starter.
Oh no. So here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to spurg about this because this is just for fun. If you're curious why onions are actually useful in spaghetti sauce, it's because the sugar helps cut the acids. Essentially, you slightly dice them up really thin, and you put them in the sauce, and guess what happens? They disappear effectively into it. Oh, did they shoot Mussolini? Well, we'll find out, Angel
I don't know.
Arroyo.
Well, let's see their hobbies. There's little difference between men and women in Italy culturally, as they both like to naturally to artistic pursuits. They're gay.
You heard it here. According to this writer, Italians are gay.
They're sissies.
And unlike Germany, religion is still a big deal to many in Italy. And if you were to find a Catholic
Bullshit.
in the old, well, no shit. No shit. Okay, so for those curious, Italy, the Italian Republic, up until, well, Mussolini, there used to be a thing that the Pope would do, which was to convince the religious to refuse to vote for Italy at all. Like any election, they were supposed to sit out. It was a big protest for them occupying the Vatican.
Yep.
In fact, that's actually
Um,
why Vatican City exists. Mussolini did it as a sop and basically as a way to kind of bury the hatchet with the Pope.
so crime is much more likely to happen in Italy, as due to their rules regarding Italian leadership, Italy does not have its own military or police force.
Are you kidding me?
However, the police in Italy are underfunded and have a much more lax approach to things compared to their northern neighbors.
No?
And crime is much more organized.
No, you don't understand. The,
It- it-
the Italian police were actually, like, in Mussolini's case and in real life, modern. They're actually pretty good at their fucking job.
Is this I'm probably reading into this way too much, but this sounds an awful lot like fucking like Disco Elysium, how they have their police being run because of how much of a shit show Revachol turned into.
You know, the
Is that what?
Revachol's act. Well, Revachol kicks the crap out of this in terms of world building.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
no
Play
shit.
Disco Elysium.
oh, and also Italy is full of crime. Ha 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 ha. Mussolini fucking gutted the mafia, and it required the Americans invading them. So in your own, okay. So here's the thing: the mafia tried to do this. They tried to do a power play with Mussolini. His response was to actually just counter them and be more brutal than them for like ever. He fucking kicked them out of Italy. In fact,
And the reason why he
well, go
and the
on.
only reason why he did that was because he got pissed off because they kept bullying him.
Yep.
They kept making fun of him. He's like, "Fuck you."
He literally
Yep.
told them to fuck off and basically outdonned them. And the mafia were basically on the back foot and mostly gone until the Americans propped them up again after invading
So
Sicily.
what you're saying is America was the bad guys because Mussolini was trying to save Italy from crime.
In this regard, you could argue that this was a big fucking mistake that the Americans did. This was a big mistake. So, according to this guy, just because of that, you can thank the Germans for inviting the mafia back. So, this is just straight up telling me that Germany has a massive organized crime problem, and I don't mean their government.
Actually, that would make a lot of sense. Crime wouldn't go reported. No crime report, no crime.
Well, no, remember, resolving a crime as a Gestapo member by their own mechanics, which can be done in any way, gets you experience and social credit. So if you just decided to just take your fucking gun and just shoot people on the spot, that's resolving a crime. You gain social credit just by blasting people.
Now, Life in France. The country is now currently led
Wait,
by
why are there
President.
no holidays?
They don't need holidays. They're Italians. They're lazy enough.
They're too lazy to celebrate any of the major Catholic holidays.
Even though that I believe it's more of a stereotype of the Montenegrins.
Actually, here's my question. This is an important question. We actually have this question in part 2, but what animal was Jesus in this setting?
Mouse.
Also
Yeah.
Muhammad. He would be a mouse, but I don't
No, I don't think they gave us what Arabs are.
I
I
don't
feel
think
like
they
he's
did.
trying to say something. I feel
Wait,
like he's
no, I
trying to say
realized
something.
camel.
I feel
Because
like he's trying to. Oh, go ahead.
I want to say, apparently there are species such as camels and scorpions. Why the fuck do we need 5 extra dogs when we could be playing as a fucking scorpion?
Yeah, that's weird. They had Borzois as their own thing when they could have cut that out for Scorpion.
Yeah. Now, again, France is controlled by Prime Minister Erwin Rommel.
You know, an actual German, and yeah.
They also do not face the amount of prejudice from the greater public as they were only at war with Germany for such a short period of time.
They're more pitied than hate. Yeah, that's a functional way to run a goddamn alliance. Just pity them.
Yep. They enjoy spending their days painting, baking, racing small motor cars around a track, wouldn't exist until decades later,
He
and
doesn't
protesting
know.
their working conditions. How the fuck are they protesting under the Nazi regime?
So what he doesn't understand here is, oh god. So late 50s France is a wild fucking place because this is after they established the Fourth Republic, which is essentially
Yeah, but
sort of a dictatorship. But keep in mind,
this would not be in this era.
no, no,
They're
I,
just a
I,
German
I, I
puppet.
wasn't. I was getting to my point. France has a big communist problem. France and Italy would actually be big fucking ulcers for Germany in this timeline. Like
They
if I
do
was
bring
gonna
up,
do this
yeah,
setting, I would have to point that out.
yeah. They do bring up later that there's the French resistance. They're also somehow bringing up the French military, despite they're allowed to have a standing army. Italy isn't though for some fucking reason.
Yeah, that's really weird, isn't it? Because you would think
Also,
that France sucking that bad would mean that they shouldn't have one.
yeah. Also, I like this. For our British travel agent, grabbing women and having your way with them is an accepted cultural tradition in France. I have to remind the French that this is considered rape and frowned upon in most other nations.
So what this piece of shit decided to do was a Pepe Le Pew joke, but the problem is he's done so many
It's
fetishes beforehand, it doesn't work.
it's also not really a. It's come
Also,
across as
yeah, it's not really a joke. It's just ha ha ha.
the
He's a rapist.
the French rape people.
Also, if you wanted to be funnier, the funnier term would be reminder that in France, a mistress is considered as important as a wife, but yet you have to treat both fairly because that's a running gag. Is that
That would, yeah.
yeah, like
Now,
make fun of the fact that infidelity is a big thing. It's to the point where France actually has banned DNA testing. Like you literally can't DNA test because there's so much infidelity and cuckoldry in France. It's like, what's the point, man?
wow.
This is
I'm
the
not even
utopia.
kidding.
What goes up in France?
Uh,
Now, life in England. So its subject nations declared independence once the peace deal was signed with Germany. It's now ruled by King George VI, ultimately a puppet state, though. Barred from the military, except they have a royal guard. They have the Reichsmark instead of the pound.
so here's my question: how are the Germans able to invade the United Kingdom?
Coup, remember?
No, no, they had Sea Lion happen, even though how?
Somehow.
Now, here's my problem. So Japan did not fight the British at all, right? That didn't happen. Like the Japanese did not attack the British at all, right?
Somehow the Nazis won.
Somehow Palpatine returned. That's the same energy.
Magic.
It's the same
Yeah.
energy.
Also, firearms are now banned in England.
I'm going to put modern political references in this book and then wonder why I got banned because it's clear that I believe this, but I'm hiding it behind jokes.
Yeah. Also, Scotland and Ireland are now independent, or there's independence movements.
Okay, but there's no serious communist issues in France. Let me double check. Do they have that?
No, it's just a resistance.
Okay.
Also, they've decided to allow violent criminals to be put on torture racks or being disemboweled while still alive.
What can I
The
even say
Germans
about
also
that?
also do not consider the fact that parts of their country or parts of their puppet state are an open revolt
Oh no, who
as a
gives a shit?
security threat. Switzerland, they're run by a technocracy. They know, and I'm gonna be honest, no, it's a literal fucking technocracy. Scholars with seemingly endless knowledge, tanks that travel without touching the ground, and force fields made of pure energy that can stop a bullet.
That's fucking stupid.
Remember, they made the dragon people, and they believe the robots.
So here's what actually happened. You know how in Wolfenstein, the Jewish people there had a secret society of like fucking technomancers.
Yeah,
This is just him taking that and giving it to the Swiss for whatever reason.
the
Here's
Swiss
another fun
also.
fact about Switzerland. It's one of the few parts in Europe that still ate cat until like the 1990s, man. Yes, cat was legal to eat. It was a delicacy, mainly because back in the olden times, Switzerland was such a poor shithole that fighting to the death was considered a great way of payment and a relief from the life of living in Switzerland. It really wasn't until banking that they changed.
Wow. Also, the, for serious crimes, they'll exile people, not to another country, but to a portal to an unknown location where they will be trapped forever.
So I really hate Switzerland as an idea because notice that everyone else doesn't have this
Clip it.
magic sci-fi bullshit except here.
Yep.
There's no point to have this.
There is. It's just they have laser guns. They have energy weapons. Just
Why didn't the
why?
Germans just have like? Wouldn't it have been more cool as if instead of wasting your time on this stupid garbage, on this
You
fucking
gave us more
horseshit,
animals.
you either gave us more animals or hey, you know what you could do with this? Well, not with the page, but you didn't really save much. But you could talk about like magic. Like here's the thing: how does magic traditions work in Germany compared to everyone else? Is there
Yeah.
hobbies for it? Do they recreate like sagas and songs like operas with it?
No, operas are gay.
Which is retarded because guess who really liked operas? Hitler. He was a big
Well,
fan of Wagner.
well, we know he's gay. We now know he's gay. Hitler's a flaming homo.
I mean, I could have told you that. He let Ernst Röhm use the informal you with him.
Now we have life in the Soviet Russia.
Oh God. Okay, here we go. This is gonna be painful.
So, Nikita Khrushchev took
So
over,
first off,
denounced Stalin.
he wouldn't be called Chief Comrade. That's a garbage title. He might be called General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. That's usually the official title. If they decided to change it, he could have picked anything else like Premier or something. There's no way he'd be fucking called that.
Um, Under the new rulership, Soviet citizens enjoy a new era of personal freedom compared to a decade ago.
Which is
Uh,
actually something that Khrushchev did do. He did
that it,
lax in quite a bit the artistic. It is to the point where he actually tried. It was actually used as a cudgel to a degree. Like the Hays Code for comics and like other things that were occurring on TV.
yeah.
Some people in Hollywood actually risked getting fucking destroyed by HUAC by pointing out that they could go to the Soviet Union and actually have a freer time with some of their artistic integrity. I'm not even kidding. This was a wild fucking time in the 50s.
Let's see. Personal property is a foreign concept to the Soviet citizen.
It
So
is
some
not.
no.
They
That
are aware
this
of
is
it.
a guy who doesn't understand communism.
So here's the thing: personal property is usually items of just little items of value. You can't own land because the land is either belonging to the state or collectively to the people on what are called collectives. You do not usually have your own room. You instead, what you do is you work, right? You're obliged to work. You have the right to work. You're expected to work. As you do, you get what's called remuneration. What is remuneration? It is the right to actually be able to use space, the collective space. You put in work, you get stuff out of it, which includes not property, but essentially a place to sleep, room, and board. And money was
So,
also, and here's the
yeah.
thing, money existed because if you went above and beyond, or if you did more, you could get a few kopecks or some rubles. And you know what you could do for them? That was for luxury goods. Or alternatively, you could get what's called I believe there is something like a ration card equivalent. But the Soviets did have an economy. What they would do is they would then go to a department store or a general store, or actually they could just order it via warehousing. I'm not even
Hmm.
kidding. Like there was a centralized supply chain where you can just kind of go to these essentially distribution. It's basically they had a nightmarish version of Amazon before Amazon had the cuck cages.
Yeah. Now, a home may be shared by four unrelated adults. A car may have a different driver every day, and it's not common for decadent comrades to even share their spouses.
Soviet Union banned polygamy. I'm not even kidding. Soviet Union had laws against polyamory. They also here's
This is
another interesting fact: the law on sodomy, because they had sodomy laws thanks to Stalin. They were in effect until 1993. Yeah, it outlasted the Soviet fucking Union.
you don't understand because of this world we live in, the alternate universe. The Soviet Union, they have no more. They got a shit population, so now that they have to have polygamy so that they can fuck and have cool sex
Also,
to
the
Now,
help
the home may be
justify my
shared by four
sexual
unrelated
perversion.
adults. That is not how collective housing worked. There are different
now,
types of it. There are what are called the barracks, where you're just a bunch of fucking guys that are trapped in basically bunk beds. Then there are the really horrible collectives, which collective housing, which is where you would sometimes be forced to sleep in a fucking hallway. 1 out of 5 people actually were still living like that in some of the poorest parts of the Soviet Union up until fucking Gorbachev, by the way. And then there are what are called the buildings that were built by the general secretaries, like the Khrushchevka, which are these 5-story tall urban housing projects.
Oh, the,
They're a little bit better than the housing projects of the U.S. in that they were intended to be temporary. And then there are the Brezhnevka, which are actually better versions of them because they had things like elevators and an improved space for ovens and like a little more floor space. You had your apartment. It was usually horribly soundproofed, so people could hear you, so you'd usually put like carpets there. But that's how you got remunerated. You work in a steel factory for like 6 days a week for like 8 hours, because, yeah, fucking labor laws, am I right? And you come back and you can flop down in your little apartment. Unironically, Soviet life is still better than what the Bugmen crave, which is very interesting.
now, foreign nationals may visit to learn about the superior communist economy and culture, although emigrating, not immigrating, emigrating to or from the Soviet Union is mostly impossible.
Well, yeah, the tourism for propaganda purposes, that is true. Also, emigrating out, yeah, I mean, they'll probably just kind of kill you or try to keep you in.
if I had to, oh god, I was about to say if I had to guess what's going on here, I think he's taking elements from fucking North Korea. I think this is like a pseudo juche. I think is what he's speculating. The Soviets will become in this fucked up furry
No,
timeline.
no, no. In this case, this is actually something the Soviets did do. They had restrictions specifically to prevent people from moving around and keep a better eye on them. It also was a way to prevent brain drain. Like, it was very strict to leaving was extremely strict, and you usually had to do it surreptitiously because quality of life outside of places like Leningrad, Moscow, Stalingrad, the big cities, they tended to suck. So let's say you go to the local polytechnic, right? You go to a pretty good polytechnic in, say, Leningrad or Moscow, or you go to the one in Kiev. Why the fuck would you want to go back to your podunk little train village? The one where you don't have electricity, and you don't have a washing machine, and you don't have basic fucking utilities. You
Or
would
access to
know.
corn.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But as for hobbies in Soviet Russia, which he's calling it Soviet Russia, it should still be called the Soviet Union. I guess
Yeah.
I guess fuck the Kazakh SSR, fuck Armenian SSR, fuck all the SSRs, man. Fuck all the other ethnicities in Soviet Union.
I was about
They-
to say, I would imagine the Caucasus in this timeline would be interesting, to say the least.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Soviets enjoy communal sports such as competitive ditch digging, field harvesting, and log throwing. They also enjoy stenka na stenku, Russian boxing, which has a dozen men with other teams fighting in large groups to have the other team exit or knock them out.
So
Eh?
here are some things I really hate about this take because these are all fucking Yakov Smirnov jokes. Bad Yakov Smirnov jokes. The Soviets actually very much enjoyed a lot of sports. They also had an entire Boy Scouts organization, not similar to, but they had their own Scouts organization called the Young Pioneers. And while they did encourage them to do civic works, as in legitimately they would get their 14-year-olds to help dig fucking ditches along roads, they also did other things. Like a big thing that they were interested in was hockey. They actually really liked hockey because they had the right climate for it. And also, they also liked performing in sports in general. That's why they doped themselves so hard on Olympics performances. They actually also, for a long time, didn't show up to the Olympics. Did you know that they had their own version of it called the Spartakiad? You might have heard of it if you've ever played another Hearts of Iron mod called Kaiserreich. If you ever played the International.
But in Soviet Russia,
They do like ice skating though.
holidays celebrate you. We have International Labor Day, International Women's Day, October Revolution Day, and Cosmonautics Day.
Actually, these sound about right. Here's another
Yeah.
weird Soviet fact. So they got rid of Christmas as a major holiday. Instead, what they did was they moved it to New Year's. It was part of their anti-religious campaigns.
Uh,
Because
now
New
the
Year's
modern.
was completely. Oh, and if you're curious, crime in the USSR. When Khrushchev took office as a part of de-Stalinization, he released large amount of political prisoners from Siberian work camps. Hey, do you want to know one of the weirder reasons why he didn't get rid of the sodomy laws, even though he wanted to lax in them?
Uh, Beria.
No, the reason he didn't want to get rid of the sodomy laws was he was afraid that the sheer amount of rape that occurred in the gulags would permanently fuck over Russian society because when the prisoners got released, he was terrified that if he got rid of those sodomy laws, they would just snuggle people into all becoming gay. Because they
Oh my-
considered it some form of weird fucking mental virus that they got from being stuck in a gulag.
Is this guy Russian then? I think this guy's actually a
Oh,
Russian in the
and if you're
1950s.
curious, they only really started they wouldn't even allow you to talk about homosexuality until the 70s under Brezhnev. And it was still illegal. It was still fucking illegal until
And even today, it's discriminated against.
Ah, man.
Let's see, the modern military.
Let's see, do they still have the
What a
gulags?
surprise! Yeah, what a surprise for the modern military. Infantry, of fucking course.
The Soviets used infantry to support. No, the Soviets were like one of the first people to really get into the concept of mechanization. Why do you think they emphasize so much on battle tanks?
I don't know. Also, Object 279. I've learned thanks to our one of our other co-hosts, Tech, that it wouldn't still be called Object. Object is just what they used when it was in research and
Well, I could
testing.
have told you that. Yeah, object. If you're curious, when Soviets design weaponry systems, they're usually called object, and they're usually given a number system. I don't know what the number systems usually represent, but what would have happened is they would not be called that. It would be called T, and then whatever iteration this would be. So since it's
Also,
59, it could have been called the T59, or could be called the T62. Who knows?
yeah, also, I want to make clear, Vladimir Lenin is talking about Object 279 and about computer simulations to have a survival rate against nuclear devices.
Okay, so this is based on a real life tank that was designed. So there's a real life tank.
What
It's
year was
actually
that tank designed in?
Vladimir Lenin would be dead unless he came back from
Yeah.
the dead.
What year?
Uh, Late 50s, early 60s. It was rejected mainly because it just was too heavy and expensive. If you're curious, if you've ever played a little game called Metal Gear Solid 3, Colonel Volgin uses it to try to kill you.
Ah,
That's the tanks. The tanks
yeah.
in Groznygrad were
Yep.
Object 279s.
Then we've got their infantrymen, their air force. Let's
Oh
get
no, I
to
want to shit on their armor some more because these are pretty fucking stupid. So the Soviets have actually surprisingly robotic tanks, which is a very interesting choice given how little of a shit they. In fairness, it's an evolution of the autoloader. Unlucky tankers may find themselves crewing T-34s and KV-1s, but instead of continuing down the T line, the standard tank, they continued to make the Joseph Stalin tanks, even though why the hell would you name it after a man who fucking drove you into the ground? Why would it be called the IS? Because IS stood for Joseph Stalin. It's
I
Stalin's
don't think
tank.
I don't think the guy knew that.
You know,
Nope.
here's the thing, right? I've gotten on White Wolf occasionally for not fucking doing research. Do you know what they had the excuse of, though?
The 90s.
They were in the 90s, and sometimes you can't be fucked to open up an encyclopedia, or hey, the encyclopedia might not have something you need, right? You have to do actual research in a library. If you're lucky, you might have the internet, like early internet, but have fun with that fucking modem. This guy wrote this shit in 2025.
Were there any Metal Gear references in this? Because I feel like I would respect him like a
When they did Brazilian
0.001%.
Samurai, that was clearly a reference to Jetstream Sam, who is an actual Brazilian
I
samurai.
don't. I don't know. I think that's just him showing like, hey, did you know that the Japanese? I also went to South America
No,
too
no, no,
when they
no.
immigrated.
I think it's Jetstream Sam because he also referenced Object 279.
Yep. But now on to life in
Okay.
America.
No, and if you're wondering, Object 279, what the reason why Volgin wanted it was specifically because he wanted the Shagohod so that he could basically just nuke the fucking world and rule it as an emperor, right? The 279 had an had those nuclear filtration systems. Basically, in real life, this tank had the entire purpose of it was it was designed to be usable by tank crews in the aftermath of a nuclear exchange. In reality, it won't do shit and they just die screaming anyway. But you know.
So, life in America. It's where any man can make it big with a bit of hard work, determination, and a firm handshake during a job interview.
Basically, this piece of shit's gonna rip off Fallout, but let's see how bad it gets because there's like multiple Americas.
Yeah, so having grown massively large, the United States voted to create a second
No,
capital in historic Montgomery, Alabama, and split the nation between North and South in a similar fashion to the East and West split of the Romans millennia ago. The North is led by President Eisenhower, and the South is led by Douglas MacArthur.
that's fucking stupid. Okay, so let's go into details about this. So first of all, this would not happen simply because
You can't.
it just passed living memory. You know, they fought a war about that. They fought a war
Yeah.
called the Civil War, and there are people that actually remembered soldiers who fought that shit.
Also, I don't think you could do this.
When the North won, it basically made secession illegal. Number two, if they're going to actually do this, they would have to make an amendment to do this. They would have to go through Congress and make an amendment,
Oh,
and then you would have to have Supreme Court uphold it, which
yeah.
there's no way in fucking hell they would.
No. Also,
And third
af-
off, this is brain dead, stupid, and if you really wanted to have a Confederate because you masturbate to the idea of a dude wearing a fucking uniform, what you would do instead is you just have the U.S. go through a civil war. And the
now,
North loses
y-
because the Germans back the South or something.
now here's a bit of a problem with that. Greenland and Canada were made states.
That's just ripping off Fallout again.
No, well, no,
The
because
Canada part was.
No, Canada wasn't made a state. It was still a territory. They don't have representation. We somehow decided to not give Alaska or Hawaii or Guam or Puerto Rico, or I don't know if he had control of the Philippines or any other
I don't
place.
think he would have
But
known
we
that
decided
we
to
had the
give fucking
Philippines.
podunk Greenland. Sorry for anyone who watches from Greenland. It's a very isolated country.
It's not
And
even a country.
Canada,
It's a territory of Denmark still
territory.
technically.
And Canada, we decided to give all of the Canadians as many representatives as possible and 2 senators.
All of Canada. Okay, so first of all, the Canadians would actively refuse this because the entire point of Canadian identity is to not be America and to not be Britain. And they would definitely fight to the fucking death about this. This is something Fallout did
Hey,
correctly that he didn't know.
hey, hey, guys, it's me, Puerto Rico. Remember me? Can I
No,
become a state now,
No,
guys?
you're
no.
brown.
Well, in this case, the Puerto Rican establishment also is trying as hard as possible to keep the territory grift going.
I'm also the South probably controls it, and apparently the South is not as isolation. It's more lenient, allowing imports, goods, and export products the two nations grow,
Okay,
acting as part of
first
the
of all,
nation
that
which
makes no
imports.
sense.
I what I what
So
what
what
the
he's
I
doing is he's
I don't.
almost being smart. He's almost being smart because the South at this point was mostly Democrat, right?
Yep.
Isolationism as a concept is at this period of time more of a Republican institution. By cutting out the Southern Democrats, which by the way, given that this was, I think, did they? No, they didn't. Did they even fucking clarify who was in office at the time?
No.
Because God, imagine
I
if it
guess
was like Harry Truman.
Eisenhower.
No, God, imagine if it was
Wait,
Harry
wait, wait.
Truman.
Also, wait. Yeah, no, this will be the Eisenhower presidency.
But either way, this is just brain dead.
They also South interacts more with the world.
Oh, also,
So
Americans of the South tend to be more native species.
you know,
Yeah, okay, I believe
raccoons,
it.
possums. Let's see. They love their cars, cinema. They love mudding, the act of driving incredibly large trucks through pits of mud for no discernible reason in the 1950s.
Monster
This is
trucks
not a
are
50s thing.
not a thing at this point, really.
And firearms are considered a hobby. Uh, Crime and punishment. In order to protect the right to free speech and ensure a fair democratic process, be a communist or fascist is a crime punishable by death in America.
No?
It's not uncommon for somebody to discover that their neighbor may have socialist ideas, such as helping the poor afford access to a
Okay,
hospital.
so essentially, what he's just doing is he's being brain dead and trying to copy Fallout without understanding a fucking lick of Fallout. By this point, by the point that these sort of laws were in Fallout, America fought a
I don't.
death war with China for like a fucking
I don't think
decade.
there even was that. I don't. This is just him going, ramping up the parody of McCarthyism.
Oh no, there kind of was because if you're curious, there are promotional pamphlets about the new plague where one of the symptoms was, "Do you have socialist thoughts such as equality, such as equality for all workers or something, or better payment?" But the problem is like this shit ramped up like massively so, mainly because they were in a fucking death war and they were in the grips of a cabal of elitist crazies known as the Enclave at that point.
Yeah. Uh, in the South, most crime is solved by regular
Also,
citizens
yes,
killing
Angel
the
Arroyo,
criminal.
Douglas MacArthur is the leader of the South in this book, even though I think he's a fucking Kansas boy, so that makes even less sense. But who cares? Erwin Rommel runs France.
So,
Who cares at this
in
point?
yeah, in the South, citizens just kill criminals that wrong them. Extrajudicial justice.
That's not out of the blue. Do you want to know what one of the weirder fucking facts is about Texas? The last old style Wild West gunfight happened. This is in '59. The last of those fucking types of gunslinger fights with bandits in America happened in like the mid 30s, dude. Like not even 15 years prior. And it wasn't uncommon for mob justice to be a thing. Why do you think lynchings existed during this time?
Yeah, but he's kind of praising it because he then says in the North, criminal trials are famous for being an arduous undertaking that required tremendous amounts of time, usually ending in a small fine and community service, which is funny because he praised the Germans for that.
Yeah, he does. I think he's just trying to do a jury duty joke, but he doesn't understand how jury duty works.
Now, holidays. So, we're ignoring the North and Canada focusing on the South. The South celebrates their Independence Day on the 4th of February. They commemorate Robert E. Lee Day
What?
and Confederate Memorial Day, which is commemorating both soldiers lost during the current era as well as during the Civil War.
Okay, so here's my problem with this. So, I mean, there's a lot of problems. Why the okay, you split America into two halves, right? Why are you venerating the people that would be seen as traitors? Now, I know in the South they have a very different way of understanding that thing because the
Yeah.
lost cause myth and all that. But this
But
shouldn't
but
be
they
what they. This should not be shit that they'd be celebrating openly. In fact, actually, you know what would be interesting as like a meta plot thing? Have a conspiracy in the South where they try to make a new Confederacy, maybe using the Germans as like backers or something, or hell, you could have it be like a Soviet ploy because there's like a big war tension thing. Think about it like that. Think of all these Southern independent guys, and the big reveal is their money's coming from Russia
mm,
or the
we're gonna
Nazis,
make
either or.
we're gonna make the communist utopia that our ancestors fought for. But Robert E. Lee Day, though, you see why it's on the third Monday of January? That's Martin Luther King Day. Robert E. Lee Day was entirely designed so that they did not have to celebrate that black bastard that ruined this great country.
Well,
That alligator son of a bitch.
I mean, in fairness, Martin Luther King Day is really recent as a holiday invention. I like,
But that's the other point. This is 1959.
yeah, Martin Luther King Day. For those wondering, I think what was it? I think it was first in the 80s.
I think 90s.
80s or 90s, mainly because a very elderly Strom Thurmond tried as hard as he could with all of his old man bones to filibuster it.
There's something about this whole idea, just this naivety to this whole thing that kind of pisses me off. I can't quite describe it. It's like a new emotion.
It's like he's trying. It's like you can't tell if he's trying to play coy or if he's that dumb.
It's both. And the reason I think you're getting frustrated is we've gone through three parts of this. We're on page 300, and this means that this is a project he put a lot of effort in, right?
Yes.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But look at how slapdashed and fucking non-caring he is.
Yeah.
This is him not caring. Like, it comes off as not caring because we off the cuff come up with better ideas.
Also, I like here to say Election Day. It's a state holiday, but in the South, they must pass literacy tests and have a small fee of no more than $100 to help fund public schools. So we just have poll taxes and literacy tests.
Which we're supposed to keep black people out. By the way, here's the funny thing about that. So
But remember, there's no discrimination, by the way.
no, it's even funnier than that. So here's the thing. During the era where literacy tests were required, they had to rig it so that black people had to read at a higher grade level, specifically because in response to the original literacy test, because the assumption was they wouldn't be able to read at all, a lot of Methodist preachers and black AME preachers spent their time teaching their communities how to fucking read just so they could stick it to whitey and get the right to vote. So what they had to do then was to actually raise they had to invent like their own fucking literacy test that was at a higher grade level, and they had to lower the one for the white people, specifically because in the 1890s and 1900s, about 90% of all black people in the South were at least capable of reading enough to technically pass the literacy test, as it should have been. The percentage of white people who could was closer to 1 in 4. Because when we mean literacy tests, we mean capable of reading at about a 5th grade level.
And if you ever looked at those tests,
which, if you're wondering why the agreement was at about a 5th grade level, that's the level that newspapers are supposed to be written at. Because that's the expected level of. That's how literally fucking dumb they expect you to be when you read a newspaper.
Well, so I mean, so everyone can understand it.
Yeah.
That's. Let's see.
Also, the poll tax, $100 in the 50s is quite a bit.
50s. Yeah.
This is
Unless
basically
it
saying up front that this is an oligarchy. Okay,
this is
so
yeah this is a racist oligarchical state because there's no fucking way that they've given the Latinos that they've conquered the right
well,
to
fuck
vote.
the poor white people too. Like, you're really gonna
Yeah,
expect like the hillbillies to be able to fucking afford that? They wouldn't. $100 is like the equivalent of a cabin for them, man. Hell, I mean, like 20 years prior, some of those houses they have in those mountains, they probably bought and built personally after getting it from Sears, because the Sears as a department store you used to be able to buy a fucking house, and the way it would work is it'd come in
Hmm.
a kit and you'd have to assemble it on site. But no,
and let's
straight
see.
up, this is absolute fucking nonsense. And on top of that, he doesn't even understand that there's other elections besides every 4 years. That's presidential elections. He doesn't
You're
understand
right.
that there's House of Representatives. There's no Senate elections. I didn't want to
There's
bring
no
it up.
local elections.
Also, here's another thing. He doesn't go into details about the politics really of the other nations. He kind of does here, but that's just because he's kind of masturbating to the idea of, I guess,
Of the
being
Confederacy.
what was it? Well, no, you know how Gone with the Wind was like a timepiece set in that. He wants to be the
Romanticism.
girl in
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Allegedly, in my joking opinion, not serious at all.
In Minecraft. Now, the modern military is using a lot of advanced equipment, and like all the other factions, head to toe
I
in armor.
don't want to rip off Fallout.
Yeah, they wear a suit of body armor that covers all their skin and fur head to toe from nuclear blasts.
That doesn't
They
sound
also have
like
a
the
they also have a
T45,
jump belt, which
T51, and
no 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 no
T60.
no no no. They also have a jump belt which allows them to leap onto buildings and across gaps like a grapple gun.
Oh, hey, just ripping off Bionic Commando. By the way, VTOLs. So yeah, just
Oh
here's your
no, I was
vertibirds.
thinking I was thinking Attack on Titan.
Actually, that sounds more accurate. That feels more close to what it really was. I like how he's decided to give MacArthur this actual hick dialect. Only those willing to die for their country are fit to become a Confederate citizen. Immigration. Son, if you want to live here, you have to enlist. Service guarantees your new citizenship, because I only understand this movie through memes. I am actually less capable of understanding fucking Starship Troopers than Paul Verhoeven, who didn't even read the fucking book when he wrote the fucking script for that movie. And no, he
Well,
did
no,
not read
yeah,
Starship
no.
Troopers.
I'm
He
saying
read
he
the
doesn't even understand.
criticism.
He doesn't even understand the book. He doesn't even understand the fucking movie.
By the way, Paul Verhoeven, you want to know where he got his ideas off of? He got it off of the criticisms for Starship Troopers. He actually read those instead.
Yeah. Let's see. The armor division, incredibly light, incredibly heavy tanks. The Patton.
I'm surprised he doesn't just
Jesus.
straight up have Mr. Handies, or Mr. Gutsies, I should say.
Nope. We got the B-52 Stratofortress, the F-10, F-14 Tomcat, the Huey. We'll move to life in Japan.
Also, you like how this idiot thinks that super heavy tank equal best, even though that's actual, like, fucking nonsense.
I'm I don't believe this guy plays Warhammer, but I guess he's getting his fucking battle strategy from Warhammer.
He's getting his design principles from Warhammer, and at the very least, you know why Warhammer does that? It's because there's a lot of weird interwar and World War I era tank designs. That's why they look so fucking weird. Because it's memorable. Like, the Lehman Russ tank is based on, I think, some early 20s tank model, like, loosely.
Hmm.
I mean, you could. I know at least one of the Imperial Guard armored units is heavily based on, like, the T-35.
No problem. But life in Japan, it is ruled by Shogun Suzuki Moriyoshi in
Oh boy.
Honshu. Subordinate are the daimyos Swate of Kushu, Hajuku of Shikoku, Take of Hokkaido, and Ozuki of Shina.
Is that their surname or their real name?
Fuck if I know. Shina
By the way,
is.
he's actually doing it wrong, because Yasusuke is a personal name. I think Moriyoshi is supposed to be his family name, so he's actually doing it in English. If you're gonna be a weeaboo loser, you have to do it. Or maybe I'm wrong, and it's So, okay, here's another thing. Did you know that Japanese actually have naming rosters and that their names are based on that sort of stuff? Now, I mean, this is anime bullshit, so you can kind of do whatever, but it might help if you actually look it up. Also, since they're daimyo, that means that they're clans. Why aren't you using like the actual clans, because Imperial Japan still had them. In fact, the army naval rivalry was because the clans that ran them fucking hated each other.
Hmm. Let's see. Basically, now it's just a feudal system. It
Also,
is
Shina, the
entire.
newest region of Japan, was based on China. They actually already had terms for that. It wouldn't be called Shina, it'd be called something else.
Citizens of Japan tend to be foxes, tanuki, cats, and canines. Kimono dragons can be
I don't
found in
give
the
a
service
shit
of
for
local
your weird
lords.
obsession with fucking foxes,
And you
man.
might also find the occasional Westerner who's fond of Japanese media as well, in an era where Japanese media did not even breach overseas.
It not only didn't breach overseas, but it was still pretty heavily influenced by Western designs anyway, and it would be based on different performance styles anyway.
Now being
Also,
Hobby, now
also
being
Japan is a collection of small independent. It's basically Sengoku Jidai bullshit. Go.
also, where are the Ainu?
Following the no, it's even more stupid than this. Following the loss of most of its industrial capacity, oh, the Ainu are all genocided. It's fine.
Oh,
Japan had
probably.
fallen back on old ways, much the same. So basically, after nuking themselves to the Stone Age, rather than getting invaded and their asses destroyed by the Soviets or the Americans, the Japanese are just allowed to languish there because I want to be able to
I
keep my bullshit Japanese anime nonsense.
Guy wants to keep his fetishes in a setting while ruining the lore. What is he, Dave Filoni?
Actually, think about it like this. He has shown the obsession with actually getting the characters designed in like Japanese uniform, like traditional and notice that Filoni has a bad habit. If you actually look at like the new helmets and like hats, they're all based on East Asian headwear.
I'm not that bothered by that.
Oh, also, if you're curious, you know those two chump Inquisitors who got their asses destroyed repeatedly in fucking Clone Wars and Rebels? You know those two fucking losers? The ones that got their asses raped by Ahsoka?
There's more than two.
I don't give a shit. They're
All of them.
replaceable. All
All
of them.
yeah,
Well, what he's trying to do is he's trying to rip off General Grievous now. You know how General Grievous was introduced as like a Jason Voorhees style serial killer in the original
yeah.
Tartakovsky run, and it was really cool.
Or no. He's pulling a fucking Boba Fett. He's
So
pulling a fucking.
so he's trying to turn no, he's trying to write them as like horror guys that will somehow push Maul to the limit, even though a Padawan Ahsoka legitimately skull fucked them. And they've died more than, and one of them at least I think lost like an arm or fucking died. But who gives a
They
shit?
again. They don't stand a candle to Jarek.
I mean,
Morgan
and Jarek was also
Katan.
kind of a chump. Oh no, I'm confusing it with the Grand Inquisitor. I'm sorry, Jarek. No, Jarek is
Oh,
badass. Sorry,
and
Jarek.
he only
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm tired. My brain is fried from this book.
So
I
let's
please
see.
don't choke. Please don't kill me with force lightning, Jarek. Ah!
Ah. Also, Damu. What did I miss about this weird, fatal, but somehow even more racist furry RPG? Oh, lots. Let's get into more of Japan, where they've decided to revert back to the Sengoku period.
Oh yeah. So what you missed
Kabuki,
included no.
gambling.
You missed the following: pregnancy fetish, wife swapping, ripping off Fallout, a weird obsession with the South, trying to push literacy law equal good, and many much more things. Many such cases.
So we've got Kabuki theater, gambling. I don't know if that was illegal at the time.
Kabuki is
Uh,
only one style of performance theater, by the way. Hey,
yeah.
actually, did you know that Japan had its own concept of vaudeville, and in fact actually had its own version of Straight and Funny Man?
Oh, really?
hmm I forget the
Would love
term.
to.
There's specific terms for them. One of them's called like bokeh. It basically, one of the guys would be the idiot who would basically fuck up and repeat what the other guy says in a bad way, in a way that's like verbally funny but also wrong, and the other guy would just try to
Oh,
hammer
it's
through.
puns.
It's a mixture of puns, but also just straight up. One of them is the idiot, and the other one's the wrangler.
So it's just an entire routine of who's on first.
Essentially.
I am down for that. That's a good bit.
There's also, oh, for fuck's sake, I forget the name of this style of performance, but it's spoken poetry and plays where it's all played by the same person who legitimately has to do different voices all at once. Like basically it's the equivalent of trapping Mel Blanc in a room and saying, "Okay, you're going to need to recreate the entire episode of Bugs Bunny versus Yosemite Sam, and you're voicing all of them perfectly from memory. Go." This is like
Let's see.
old-timey
Yeah,
stuff.
we've got wrestling, judo, kendo, shogi, go.
There's more effort put into this weeaboo bullshit than he's put in anything else, by the way, in terms of hobbies.
Let's see.
If you're curious, the Russian one was literally just a bunch of Yakov Smirnoff jokes. That's how fucking creatively bankrupt that he's been.
Chinese pastimes are discriminated in China. Also, for Donman
So
saying,
wait,
reading this.
that means that most of the Japanese hobbies are banned because the most popular types of gambling are all based on Chinese styles of play.
He doesn't know that.
Pai Sho and Mahjong, for example, are Chinese, motherfucker.
Yes, they all play Baccarat.
Uh,
But from Donman, would not be surprised if reading this game would lead to what one episode of What We Do in the Shadows would call the Brain Scramblies. I'd rather be next to an energy vampire than that.
I would rather be just straight up killed by a vampire than, deal with this book after this.
All right. Japan, Crime and Punishment is, while still being a decentralized nation, what the
So the Japanese did have a police force even during the Sengoku Jidai period, sort of.
It's the samurai apparently.
No, actually, since he's basing this on like Edo period bullshit to a degree, I will simply state that they did have a centralized police force, and there are some very hilarious ukiyo-e style artwork of Japanese police officers wearing a weird mixture of Western uniforms patterned off of the French officer uniform, wearing more traditional hats, riding fucking penny farthing bicycles.
Wait, is that a photo or is that a?
That is a wood carving piece of art, and I think there might be photos of this too.
Oh,
I will try to find them, mainly because I remember this because
it's the penny farthing.
well back in the day, hey Biggs, you were there too. We played in a 5th edition game. It's the only time we played a D&D 5th edition game. Greg was running it, and it was set in Edo period Japan. And we ran into the police and they fucking looked like that, and it made me laugh.
So we have here.
Oh no, I think
also
I think Biggs has been abducted and wife swapped by the Soviets. He's gone.
He might be back, but the
Also
samurai basically just
way
get to
more
do
effort
whatever
describing the police,
yeah.
by the way. Oh, and also
Get to do whatever
the IJA had their own police force. They were fucking nuts. Like the
I would assume
Japanese
so.
state had their own police forces, and they were pretty fucking brutal. Did you know corporeal punishment was still legal in Japan, and that they could beat you?
Huh? Well, in this case, if there's any crime, they'll just be killed. Pretty much just be killed. The samurai can kill people. Anyone found wandering the roads past 7 p.m. is considered fair game for a samurai to attack.
This just sounds like an idiot's interpretation of Legend of the Five Rings.
Now let's see their holidays. Oshogatsu. Haikurin Giri Kyosu. Hanami. Yon Matsuri. Sanja Matsuri. Anabate. Setsuban. Wagawara.
So, yeah, these are all actual
Ichiban.
holidays. I just don't give a shit. He put more effort in actually
Yari
talking
Samurai.
about these.
Yari Arageshi.
Keep in mind that he put more effort into describing actual Japanese holidays than he could be fucked to talk about any of the actual holidays for, like, even Germany.
Primary military strategy. Demoralize opponents with biological weapons. And the normal one with cheap, expendable
Wait, but
forces.
if most of your technical capacity is gone, how are you making like, I guess you could breed, like,
they have
bubonic
giant
plague and
robots
rats.
as well.
But most of their technology's gone, though. Don't worry.
Modern Japanese soldiers look like samurai.
That's
but
stupid.
the armor's designed to stop bullets.
Fuck off, no.
And every soldier's given a katana.
Hey,
or
you're
a
back.
bayonet.
How's the wife swap at the Soviet Union?
It sucked.
They also get horse
expected it.
riders. We also have a section on the Celestial Empire.
Oh God. Okay, so Manchuria.
I'm starting to fall apart though.
Fuck it. I want to go through.
It's
I promised we were gonna go through it. Fuck this. I am
okay.
angry and I want to finish
So
this. I feel like a honey badger that's about to
it's a
die.
very diverse empire of East Mongolia, Korea, and Northeast China,
Yes.
producing beautiful works of art and clothing in the blasted remnant that is the Middle Kingdom.
No, it would produce mostly soybeans and opium.
Uh, the
I'm not even
priestly
kidding. That's
caste.
like the main industry that Manchuria had, besides the steelworking industry that basically there's a lot of light and heavy industry the Japanese invested in, but its big money maker was it fucking opium and soybeans.
Let's see. There's eunuchs. Um, both men and women can join eunuchs thanks to advanced medicine. What the fuck does that mean for women?
They get hysterectomies.
What? But yeah, I don't.
He doesn't know what a eunuch is. He just wanted to. What's this
Does he have
weird?
a null fetish?
I think he's just an idiot. And like, why is he scared? Is he scared of getting canceled because anyone can be a eunuch? Was this like
I,
his weird attempt to avoid
well,
getting
no,
canceled?
because remember, you can then fuck them and not get pregnant.
Yeah, true, fair enough. Donman's hoping that the rules are poorly. It's stolen from Twilight 2000. It's just Twilight 2000's Year Zero creation engine, just not as well
Yeah.
designed.
Let's see. Hobbies. As an egalitarian people, the Celestials tend to be expressive, thoughtful, and favoring the spirit and mind over the vanity of the body.
Okay,
Calligraphy, painting, gardening, and board games are quite popular with men and women alike. And don't forget, Buddhism still exists.
I'm just surprised you
And
remembered Buddhism existed.
amorous relations between the unmarried and indulging in gambling are acceptable. The nation's red light districts are notorious dens of sin with whores and opium in equal measure. Oh, I do believe those comfort women are most likely voluntarily doing that.
I mean, he's basing this on the nightmare that was actual Shanghai during this period, which that means, hey, do you want to know where all of the mice women were being sent to for exotic natures? Down here, probably, along with the
Well,
bears, because a lot of white Russian emigres escaped down here.
then they seem to talk about how there's a growing film industry, which is the kung fu, even though that doesn't exist until the 70s.
And it just it wasn't even from the People's Republic of China, really. It's more of a Hong Kong thing.
Yeah. Homosexual tourism is such a large part of our income that Siam is beginning to copy us.
So
Because
wait,
homosexuality is legal in China.
in China, life in China. So they legal. Does he actually know about the weird little? So here's just a weird little thing about Chinese language. The god of gay men is also known as the god of bunnies because in China the specific term, like it's not rabbit but bunny, referred to gay men. Is that why? Is it because he can now have the rabbit slam ass?
Um, Also, it looks like most criminal enforcement in the Empire is focused on quelling rebellions or uprising.
Uh, China's a fucking nightmare and basically dead.
Yeah. Uh, Modern military,
Also, you
full
like how he
tank.
gave a shit about the Celestial, he gave a shit about Manchuria, could not be fucking bothered to cook up anything for the other Chinese factions.
Yeah. Also, the Celestial
T- t-
infantryman, brightly colored whites, oranges, and greens.
I was about to say,
Anyway,
to be fair, I know jack shit about the warlord period. All I just know is there was too many of those fuckers.
Well, yeah, because anyone with a gun and a bit of luck could become a warlord. In fact,
but that,
a lot of them graduated from what's known as the School of Forest Movement, aka banditry.
but then we have life in China, which in general, we've got the religious center in Tibet, several warlord states in surrounding the island of Hainan, which is Australia's foothold.
Well,
Uh,
okay, that makes no
the
sense to me, but
nationalists
whatever.
are in the southeast. In the east lies many abandoned villages. Then there's the Chinese Communist Republic, and large open areas where there's just a bunch of random villages.
He couldn't be bothered to come up with any different types of
No.
cliques.
Now, Australia, mate. combining Australia, New Zealand,
This book is giving me the
Malaysia.
itis.
What the fuck is Malaysia?
Melanesia.
Melanesia. What is that?
Melanesia is a series of islands that's located west. It's located east of Papua New Guinea, but west of Micronesia and west of the Samoas and like Polynesia.
Also, so they talk about how there's the foxes, badgers, kangaroos, geckos, and the emus in the military, but also immigration. For
Okay.
the first fucking time, he uses the right word.
Oh, he actually. Oh, yeah, you're right.
What the fuck?
Interesting.
They get into border skirmishes with their East Asian neighbors. Their hobbies include cricket, getting drunk in fist fights with fosters,
Well, yeah, cricket is actually popular in Australia, but you know it's more popular? Footy. You also know it would probably be more popular?
boomerangs, flying discs.
Yeah, I'm surprised that wasn't a
Oh,
hobby.
and here's how I can prove it's Guyana. New Guinea. He uses the right term, New Guinea.
Oh, then okay.
They've taken
But
a
New
relatively
Guinea has been
relaxed.
part of them for for like decades at this point. Are you fucking? Oh God.
Um, they take a very relaxed approach to crime. But if you don't vote, you go to jail.
Okay. As for their military, it doesn't matter at this
It doesn't
point.
matter. Puck Ridge, the Bob's Landship, the Bob Semple,
Why would they? No, they
Olympia
wouldn't.
Riders, and that's it. Then we go on to the NPC sheets.
Well, we get this person who has Senpaku eyes, which means that they are destined for a dark fate because of
Yeah.
it's the lower white that's exposed. If it was upper whites, then we'd have to run.
I can't help but notice this whole section was us just screaming at the lore.
Yes.
I
That's all this
literally.
was.
So here's the thing: we could have easily stopped at part 2. I wanted to just twist the knife in a little more.
And now we have a whole section of stats for NPCs. Soviet anti-tank sergeant, anti-tank soldier. We definitely need to know the captain, the bodyguard, the assault sergeant, and the assault soldier. Like this is fucking 4th edition Warhammer where we have different stats for our sergeant and our regular troops.
Yeah, you like how these are just stat blocks for generic. Like there is
Just
no
generic.
characters. There are no
Why
characters.
do I need? What's the? Hold on. It's just an additional like +1 in stats.
Yep.
Or additional 10 in health. What?
So I think this might be based on Twilight 2. It could be Twilight 2000. It's been a bit since I looked at it.
Why do I hold on? Wait, why do I need a different gunner or a different gunner and driver for a green vehicle?
Oh, I know what he's doing. He's ripping off Twilight 2000, but poorly. They would just give modifications if you wanted to make them more powerful.
Yeah.
Also, you could easily have summarized these tables much more efficiently if you just did that.
Same thing for the American squad.
Also, don't worry, guys. There is nothing of value in this entire section. You want to know why? There's no actual characters. It's just fucking stat blocks.
National
So, you know what we're
Guard.
going to do? Skip this horse shit.
There is a good section later. He includes dinosaurs for some fucking reason.
Yeah, but we can skip the rest of this. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck about any of this? By the way, notice how many pages we fucking skipped.
Oh no, I need to go. The English man at arms, plate mail, saber, long. What the?
Oh, there's also just straight up native warriors. So, what native warriors? Who fucking knows? Oh, native warriors is in Aborigines.
Wait, which is it in the Australia section?
Yes, it is.
So the Aborigines didn't get killed.
Yeah, and on top of that, they're armed with a boomerang and they have steel helmets and vests. So that is fantastic. Komodo mercenaries, big sword society. Why the fuck are the big sword society back? They got gassed during the fucking Boxer Rebellion.
Buddhist monks, shinobi, bandits, pirates. Oh, this is from the Asian section.
Yeah, this is weeaboo horseshit. Here we go. This is
Yeah.
the thing. This is the thing we've all been waiting for. Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. The Velociraptor, the Troodon, the Archaeopteryx swarm, the
Archaeopteryx swarm, yeah.
Pterodon, Triceratops, Stegosaurus, Tyrannosaurus Rex, Brachiosaurus.
And that's it. Nothing interesting. There's no thing.
Where's my...
No, you're not getting a Nazi dinosaur. I'm sorry, man.
That could have been the
Why
saving
not?
grace. But now, why the fuck did this guy make this game?
True,
It's supposed to be one of lighthearted fun and adventure. You know, with the Nazis and the raping and
yeah, it's like a regular
all that
Springtime
shit.
for Hitler, as directed by Mel Brooks.
Oh
Oh no, there's more horrible.
No.
There's some rule variations. I just stumbled into it. JRPG style combat. Given the
Mass
Asian-inspired setting of the Pacific Theater, you might enjoy the idea of altering combat to make it play out like a JRPG combat system instead. A reminder, Squeaks, the person who made this was just a vehicle to get into video game design.
I have his Twitter pulled up, and I have an example of his video game if you're interested.
We will link that. Well, actually, you know what? Fuck it. We'll show
send-
it off at the end. Screw it.
Also, solo play. As a fair warning, I have never played a TTRPG solo, nor read any game which works this way.
Oh boy.
This
I don't know
section
what the fuck
is
I'm
entirely
doing.
my own idea and written as a thought experiment.
Then
Pay
why
me
did you?
money for...
You could have cut
No,
it out.
wait. Pay me money for my thought experiment.
Yeah, he just decided to add this one. He didn't need to.
I'd have to say, it's not Springtime for Hitler as directed by Mel Brooks. It's Springtime for Hitler as directed by Marquis de Sade.
No. This is Springtime for Hitler as written by a really completely shittered Ethan Ralph.
Springtime for Hitler directed by fucking Uwe Boll.
Who did Sallow?
It's produced by Uwe Boll.
This is the furry version of Sallow.
No, this is written by Roman Polanski, that child toucher. Thanks, France, for
we also have
housing him.
exploration guides for your solo play, including coming across an ancient city in the Arctic. Though we also come across a thriving penguin town, or an abandoned city colored in snow, or an alien device buried in snow.
Yeah, I don't really care about this because there's no point. Like, look at how many things that he could have cut out by not doing this. So anyway, here's the author commentary. Firstly, I want to thank every one of you who have bought this book. Iron Eagle is the first tabletop RPG I have ever designed. And here's the thing. I usually would be a little more polite about that, but the problem is you clearly didn't fucking try as much as you should have.
Wait. I set out to make this game because I noticed the proliferation of extremely left-wing political games that discriminate against anyone who is even remotely normal.
You're not normal. You're a furry. Furries aren't normal.
Oh.
Most people don't jack it off to, like, fucking Zootopia, dude.
Also, the proliferation of... You know what those games are? If they're not powered by the apocalypse or some shit thing, they actually do have some unique systems. They actually are
just a
games.
Ripoff of Mork Borg, because the whole Borg system is just that too. Essentially, it's a big asset flip.
Yeah, I enjoy World War II as a setting and play many online video games such as War Thunder and Red Orchestra.
That explains everything. Not Red Orchestra, War Thunder. Like, he's a War Thunderspurg. Of course, it makes sense now. It makes sense now. That's why there's so much shit on the vehicles.
That's why he doesn't know anything about history.
Yeah.
He's a War Thunder player. That's all he does.
He plays War Thunder. He flaps his arms whenever they leak state secrets.
What stood out to me is how every game set in this period censors the German armies and only allows them to be played to be the villains of the story. Why are online multiplayer games the only way for me to play as a German soldier? Because they genocided 12 million people. They started the fucking war.
You don't understand. Why can't I play them? What? Have you never played? Because remember, for all its crap, the Battlefield campaign had the last Tiger tank where you played as.
Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
I would have said World at War era Call of Duty could have done a good campaign of the Germans.
I mean,
remember,
Call of Duty
this
could've.
man is too retarded for Hoi 4. So if he
Oh,
was
yeah.
able to play Hoi 4,
Hoi
maybe he would
4.
have more of an idea.
Hoi 4, yeah. He couldn't even figure out how to put fucking torpedoes on a submarine hull.
Likewise, I could not find a single TTRPG on the market built around the idea of playing soldiers in the German Reich.
Are you fucking
Because
kidding
who
me?
the fuck wants to do that?
Are you fucking kidding me? No,
I'm
you
just
don't
gonna say it, I'm
understand.
sure there's-
Conflict 1947, you literally can play that.
I'm just gonna say it. I'm sure there's like some GURP supplement out
Oh,
there
also,
where you
also,
can.
Bolt Action.
Bolt Action allows you to
Bolt
play
Action
that,
allows you to
yes.
play as the Waffen SS.
Yeah. Bolt Action, Conflict 1947, Achtung
47,
Cthulhu,
Achtung Panzer,
Achtung Panzer, and
um,
Achtung Cthulhu.
Achtung Cthulhu. If we talk about TTRPGs, yeah, you could play
Delta Green, you can play as a member of Karateka. It's not what you're supposed to, but you could easily run a Karateka game if you wanted to.
GURPS. Fucking GURP. You do GURPS.
Call
you
it
could make a
Cthulhu
D&D game.
1930 setting. You're members of of the fucking Thule Society.
You know,
You can play
really
as acolytes of Heinrich Himmler in Vampire the Masquerade. Yeah. Think about it. You play fucking Tremere Anti-Trivia as part of his Fourth Reich in Krakow. You could fucking do that if you want. Who's gonna stop you? The Diablerist, who's like their fucking
We've read from the Shoah book.
Yeah,
Some of the characters there were Nazis.
I mean, most of them were more specters, but still.
Yeah. Also, it really annoyed me that roughly 100% of all World War II media is from the point of view of the Allies and the Soviets, as the other side of the world is composed of normal people, just like you and I.
Oh yeah, normal people, like the people who, like like Unit 731, which referred to its dead bodies as logs so that they wouldn't get in trouble if they ever got caught.
Or like, why does this period censor the German armies? In Germany, it was illegal to show the swastika in anything but historical stuff.
Yes, and to this
day, it
has
recently been modified.
It's only been recently modified, and on top of that, any focus on that made it illegal. And if you're gonna sell shit, if you try to sell shit with it, if you want to have a global market, you literally can't do it. And on top of that, it's just bad fucking press.
Have you considered that the Nazis were just as as good guys as you and me? Because remember when Dresden got bombed?
Deserved.
That was bad.
Fucking deserved. I'm gonna call it deserved. Fucking give them a little taste of their own fucking medicine.
Well, I think you're a bit biased in that answer, sir.
Yeah. Well, I'm an American. We were at war with them.
But it's just nuts. It is completely insane.
Yeah.
The history of this game is quite unusual, and I would like to explain. I was searching for lists of furry TTRPGs on the market because, God forbid that you keep your paraphilia out of your fucking games. And kept finding one mentioned on list. This game was named Fuzz the Furry Police RPG by an obscure company called Seraphim Guard. I think we might have discovered a new product at some point.
No, because it never released.
Oh.
So we wanted to first do a comedic furry RPG about playing as police officers and criminals. I would just do Toon then. Just do Toon.
Or alternatively, you could. I don't hate the idea as a shitpost, but the only reason this fucker wanted to do it was because of fucking Zootopia. That's why.
Yeah. Also, you know what I realized? That's another RPG that you could have the Nazis in. You do the old World War II propaganda cartoons, and you could actually roll slap a Jap.
I'm just envisioning. Oh God. Okay, hear me out. You're playing like stereotypical bad guy Germans, and then you hear Donald Duck scream at you, and he's your final boss. You have to fight Donald Duck.
Or
alternatively, Scrooge McDuck, because oh God, like imagine like DuckTales the comic as an RPG.
Also, so during the draft phase, the game slowly morphed away from its police themes and into a military simulator. Wanted to keep their mind of the game's roots. This is where the Gestapo class comes from.
No, you just wanted to be able to play as you just wanted to play as a secret police guy.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
The ambient life is a D100 system, but I eventually settled on year 0 because I like it,
No, it was
and
just already
because
there.
D100 is probably hard for you because it involves a lot of math.
It's not even that hard as a math system. All you'd have to do is devise the skills and percentages. It's not hard.
I like Damon's commentary here of, what niche does he think this crap is from? And yeah, totally normal people who want to side with the German Reich in a World War II setting. This guy's a total nutcase if he thinks that's normal. I agree. He's a nut.
He's nuttier. He's
I'll,
nuttier than a shithouse rat, and he wants to fuck
He's a genuine Looney Tune.
it.
I said it before, and I'll say it again. You could probably get the same. You could probably get the same results, maybe even better too, with better fucking rules too. If you just run a homebrew version of Iron Claw, while you
Yeah,
have
Iron Claw. It's
American,
right there.
while you're watching America First with Nick Fuentes as you butt fuck one of the other players.
I mean, if
you
you
probably
really
get a better result.
I mean, you'd also get a better result by playing Furry Pirates, which was the furry game.
Yeah.
There's also apparently another system that's like made by fat fetish furries or something called, what was it? Oh god, what is it called? It's not called
Your
Vor.
life.
It's like some other thing. I forget the name of it, but there's like
No.
this really stupid fat fetishist RPG that was made by furries that apparently
Yeah.
people try to justify as good. He could have used that.
No. Why so many optional rules? Either your fees are large amount because they want to care about the experienced gamer and the novice. I'm
Well, you
particularly in the
failed at
latter
both.
camp, as I decided to make the crunchiest TTRPG I could still consider to be playable and enjoyable. I was fed up with the modern trend of streamlining, simplifying rules, and decided to go into the opposite direction to bring back the fun of older RPGs such as Albedo, Phoenix Command, and Fatal.
What is wrong with you?
The inspiration for making many of the rules optional actually comes from my experience DMing a few campaigns of Fatal for my friends. At the heart of that system was a perfectly usable game once you cut out some of the superfluous and stupid crap, and I am proud to say that my friends really enjoy each time I run the game for them.
Well, yeah, it's a sex perverts game. By the way, you actually think calculating using quadratic formula is an effective way to actually cast magic, you fucker? No, you're full of shit. You want to know why? You used Year Zero engine, which is the thinking man's powered by the apocalypse. At the end of the day, it's a good system, but it's a simple system. You are
fucking
a lying
mad.
bitch.
He actually played Fatal.
He plays Fatal!
If this is true, he's fucking insane.
The fiends, they're actually enjoying it.
I'm stunned.
By the way, if he's such a fan of Fatal, why did he have the oversight of allowing a man to fuck another man and there's no anal circumference rule?
Because he's actually gay.
No, here's the thing. The size difference only affects heterosexual relationships. It doesn't. So if you want, you could have a bear. You could have like a bear, like have horrible carnal relations with a spider, and nothing would go wrong, even though there's a big size difference. I'm sorry. I'm just applying the rule. I mean, this is the same system that allows you to be Ducklewanger and just kind of molest Roosevelt into being gay.
So, well, it started out fun. Like the gear section is massive because it's likely the only TTRPG I ever published. Thank God.
Yeah, this is not for you, buddy.
Because he wants to be a video game developer. It started
we're
out as
gonna
fun.
show
It
that
evolved
off.
into a depressing affair because of the sheer discrimination and hatred I have found in the tabletop community.
You have dog shit opinions.
I have been permanently banned from DriveThruRPG, Reddit, several forums, and over a dozen large TTRPG author discords simply for mentioning this game. Oh, I have no fucking idea.
I mean, let's
Maybe
see.
you should try
Snuggle.
Maybe you should try it.
Sorry.
I was about to say, maybe he should try advertising on the Kiwi farms. I'm sure he'll get a warm applause there.
Oh.
I mean, maybe if he's really why don't you go on a poll? Maybe they'll fucking listen. I don't know.
Poll will listen.
I mean, maybe he can advertise on Telegram.
On a similar note, the magician. So he wanted to have all this gear so it could be done in any era. On a similar note, the magician class was created to allow a more fantasy-themed campaign. Originally written for the specific theater
Okay,
as Asia is quite mystical and magical, but I felt it fit
go
right in
fuck
with the
yourself.
Nazi research as well.
So, okay, let me very quickly of advice. So this is just based on we've read a lot of books, and I know that Randall has worked on books. I myself have dabbled in it. Rule number one when you're writing a project: focus on a thing and don't try to make it for everyone. It never goes fucking well. It never goes well. Furry RPG, sure, fuck it. Furry Nazi RPG, I mean, that's not gonna do well. You're fucking insane if you think that's ever gonna do well. But if you wanted to do like a diesel punk furry Nazi thing, I think it could sell like hotcakes because there's a certain degenerate audience that would love to play Schutzstaffel werewolves. There's that. And then on top of that, if you include the other factions as expansions or as part of a core, you could get something out of that. But then you decided to add super science, which you did nothing with, really. And then you decided to add magic, which you did fucking nothing with. And then on top of that, you decided to slot in another thing. Rather than focus on one project and try to do it as well as you could, you fucking decided to feature creep, which was to your detriment. Which, by the way, given that I don't think he learned any of these lessons, so his video game project will probably be a shit show because of that too.
What? Why did I find a typo? While I strove to write the best book I could, I am an impoverished independent author who, on no circumstance, can afford $1,000 an editor would have cost.
You can't
And it's
you can't
self-funded
just
because the project is banned from Kickstarter.
you literally. Here's the thing: if you don't have an editor, here's a trick. You leave off, like you finish writing for a bit, and you know what you do? You come back like a couple hours later with a fresh mind, and then you double check it, and you also have spell
I'm,
checkers. Now,
I'm
is
gonna
that
say it.
perfect? No,
j-
but it helps.
I'm gonna say it. It probably is lame, but honestly, God, just get Chat GPT to help you out.
ChatGPT would unironically help you out.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, it's not like you know saying that you use AI. I mean, it's not the book's already not endearing to the Reddit crowd. I don't think that's gonna. I don't
What
think
type of
being any
idiot?
more hate.
This idiot went to fucking Reddit to try to shill this man.
Well, yeah, he said some rules need clarification. I tried my best to find players for this game, but it was unsuccessful. Anytime I would post online looking for playtesters, my account would be banned from the platform because of the nature of this book.
I don't actually think it's the case. I think what happens is I think what he's doing is he's using this book as his excuse for being an awful, not an awful person. You know how people try to ignore their shit behavior? I bet it's for other reasons, and then this book was just a really good reason to kick him.
Well, yeah,
I mean, yeah, getting banned from Kickstarters, no shit. But getting banned from a lot of subreddits, sure, I could believe it. Reddit's Bugman Hive. But I think it's just straight
Well,
up your
also
personality
from
what
too.
down it
what
shouldn't
fucking subreddits did he go to though? That's my question.
RPG. Let I'm assuming the main RPG one, some probably is a playtester one. But it says, "Can I write Iron Eagle content? You're free to write and publish adventures, and use the setting, characters, and stories. All I ask is you contact me and let me know. It would be very nice to hear that someone is a fan of my work and is helping expand the Iron Eagle ecosystem."
But you basically are turning this into abandonware by your own words. What's the point?
And I mean, great. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do the one where the Italians, basically the Nazis, get gang raped by all the other Europeans because of their incompetent political system, putting Germans in major political positions in their country.
Uh, I mean that's a funny one. You could also do a really fun one. Could be Laris, but the problem is you're working with crap. Like there is a joy in working with what's essentially packaged ramen in like some random peanut butter or eggs that you found in a fucking cupboard somewhere. Struggle session trying to come up with like a good meal out of it. That's one thing. This is being given half-year-old, like year and a half old salami you found in the freezer that's covered in like a thin sheen of ice and questionably moldy cheese. And that's all you have. The
Now,
materials here are not really
yeah,
tenable for anything good.
5. Why is there a section about having
That
sex?
that's a good question.
This is a game about anthropomorphic furry animals. It would literally be it would be literally impossible to create a TRPG about this and not include a section about getting it on.
Tune, Iron Claw, furry pirates.
I think Draconis. I don't know if it has a sex mechanic in it.
It probably does. But I can tell you, I already named
But
3, just like
that
off the top of my
section
head.
was mostly written as a joke, as well as the
No, it
eroticism
isn't.
skill.
You
So
You
one of your
captivate the
major
jokes.
hold on, wait. So one of your major skills is a joke.
What are you gonna say, Biggs?
He literally said in like the last fucking sentence, "This is important to have. You can't have a furry game without rape." What the fuck is he on about?
I
Why
think
is he
he's just
making up shit?
okay. So this is a type of mindset. I think I talked about this at one point in this long rant and ramble. But there's this type of mindset where at the moment you are only focused on the now. So what happened was he wanted to try to justify, like, oh no, I'm being criticized for being a weirdo who believes that you could struggle snuggle people as Ducklawanger to turn them gay. They're gonna think I'm a weirdo, so I'm going to justify it without actually remotely fucking thinking about past me writing the weird Ducklawanger rape thing. I mean, he didn't do Ducklawanger, but the weird gay to normal mechanic. He basically is responding to this at the time, trying to weasel out of it, and he's already forgotten that, like, you have the sex mechanic, you have the wife swapping joke, you talk about the men looking like the women and vice versa repeatedly in this book, and then what's the weird fucking thing that was in part 2 that oh god.
The pregnancy fetish.
I mean, there's the pregnancy fetish, but there's like there's like this thing that really got our goddamn goat. There, there's like sex nonsense in a good chunk of this fucking book. Oh, it's the demon.
Now,
It's the clothless
oh,
demons.
the lust demon.
Oh no, it's the hypnotist class. I remember.
Oh, you're right.
It's
Yeah,
the love slave making class. Why is that in that book, Bucko?
it's a joke. It's a joke.
You literally talk about altering their souls to love you.
It's a joke. It's my blood pressure medication. It fucked me up.
Not gonna lie, man, that's kind of fucked up.
Well, that brings up the last question. Are you a bad person? I've written a game in which you play as bad people, written from the perspective of their society.
I don't believe you.
Wrong. Right off the bat, wrong. Correct, bad people, not from the perspective of their society. No fucking way is this what the Nazis would believe.
They wouldn't think of that at all. They'd probably think that they probably would be concerned about the Soviet Union still existing, because like the entire thing is
why the fuck would they give women any fucking equal treatment? Why the hell would they allow
they'd justify it
movement
too.
between groups?
No, they would justify it too, unless you wanted to go with like Wolfenstein, where they had the the elite off the oh god, the elites, which were women in fucking spandex and shit. But
You didn't even do that.
you could have explained it in the case of
Yeah.
like their warrior women, like the You could have like some weird. Okay, imagine like a cracked out Heinrich Himmler who's rambling about how the Amazons from Hyperborea were German, and therefore you have the elite Amazon units or whatever. There you go.
Perfect. Yeah. While the game was written in a neutral tone, no, it wasn't.
It really wasn't.
And I attempted to emulate their world. No, you didn't. I am not a National Socialist. Probably not, because I don't think you understand the concept of National Socialism.
He doesn't understand. He doesn't even understand the concept of geography. He couldn't even be fucked to pull out a map to go, oh yeah, the Baltics don't have mountains. He thought the Baltics have mountains. They're as flat as Kansas.
Actually,
they're flatter
he knows
than
what
Kansas.
Nazi was even the shorthand for.
Yeah, actually.
That's true. That is impressive. Also, it's really weird he's obsessed with their logos and their uniforms and everything.
And you keep splattering it on there. I know you're trying to say it's there from their perspective, but you got really fucking obscure there.
Yeah.
Are we the baddies?
Also, it's a little weird that you have an OC and invented your own unique homebrewed Waffen SS division for your stupid Borzoi OC.
Like, if this guy listens, do you not understand how that can come off not as offensive, just What the fuck?
Like, here's the fucked up thing. Here's the really fucked up thing. If he pitched this as this is the 1950s timeline where the war never quite did not end in the way it wanted, and it's a three-way Cold War between the three ideologies in the West, the light of democracy, or at least what they claim to be. In Europe, the iron fist of fascism, a tottering broken wreck. And finally, communism, a stagnating cult of self-defeat and destruction. And you just kind of went that route. That could have probably bailed your ass out of the
Like,
fire.
like if you went crazy in this way, like goofy Nazis, where they're over the top, they're trying to open portals to Thule, and they're all decked out in the SS stuff and whatnot. When you put it in the world of just like America's just completely over the top, you've got gun. They built cyborgs so that they could have more hands to hold guns, and the Soviets just building Superman or whatever
No,
the
no, no,
fuck.
no. I got a funnier idea. You go with the Fallout America thing where they just replace the unions with robots because they don't have to pay them.
Yeah. But like
They don't have to pay them.
when you go that far crazy, that bypasses the whole thing of you're playing as the SS because it's just so far out of reality. You've brought in not only the absurd but also the real, which is they genocided people.
There's also the weird segue you had with the Confederates where you tried to justify the poll tax and literacy tests. That's a little
As he
fucky
says,
wucky.
Iron Eagle attempts to be somewhat accurate portrayal of society in the 1950s.
No.
What?
What?
Where
What?
were the fucking computers in the 50s?
So here's my question:
don't worry about it.
what type of opioids do you think he's on? Because that's some
Pure
good
One that
ass
Hitler
shit.
took.
high-grade copium.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, mixed in with a bit of humor and my own weirdness.
You really think
Certainly
more modern game? No.
no, you're not treating the
I mean,
libs here.
I'm offended at your laziness, at your
That's
seeming
exactly it.
laziness
I would respect an
and
honest
cowardice.
an honest to God Nazi that did want to play a game where you went around murdering Jews.
I
You
would
know
also
why?
respect you
Because they
more if
beat
you
you.
didn't weasel it out. Like either
They're
you
honest
commit to the bit
about their
or
intent.
you play it up like a joke.
Yeah.
Or
I
alternatively, what you do is you basically you didn't come out to make a game. You came at this with the idea of he even does like a fucking lame attempt at trying to grift on the right wing. Like he tries to right wing grift in this too.
my RPG is under attack
He
by
fucking
the woke
does.
left. I
And
don't
that's
care
my
about
problem.
your
Like because of that, I'm gonna have to take that you believe at least some of this shit seriously.
yeah. Let's see. I don't care about your ethnicity, religion, or orientation. It doesn't affect me in any way. I am from the 1990s and stick to that era's idea of what is socially acceptable and funny.
You are aware that in the 1990s it was considered kind of a faux pas to support gay rights, right?
Yeah, I will not change for anyone. Well, no, not even the people. This is not even fucking shock jock era 90s shit, and they did terrible things to women.
Oh God. Yeah. Hey, remember when they would bring like actual crackheads to talk about how their life is destroyed and laugh at them as they just like ramble about the hallucinations they have on fucking live?
I mean, it's funny. It's horrible, but it's funny.
I mean,
And
these are the same
educational. Don't
outfits
forget
that would
that.
like pay homeless people to eat actual fucking rat shit and poison.
This is not of what's, but also what's socially acceptable. Who were the fucking hack comedians of the 90s?
It doesn't really matter because like
I'm just trying to, like, we found that acceptable. We found Will Smith acceptable in the 90s.
yeah, he is cool. That was back before his brain stopped working correctly.
Yeah, you know, the thing is though,
I like how he's trying to say like, oh, it'll offend it. Meanwhile, he's the one shrinking and hiding away and not like refusing to just fucking knuckle down and just
He's
Be
the Rob.
himself.
He's Rob fucking Schneider.
Oh God, I gotta do a fucking pitch with that. Let me go up because I don't remember this guy's name.
Sheep or
Squeak McDull was just your average video game programmer. He had his dreams, he had his passions, and he also had a fursuit and programming stocks. Until one day, he decided to make a game about playing Nazi furries. It's a laugh a minute, like the day the clown cried. Squeaks McDull is in Iron Eagle, rated PG-13. Coming out 420. Smoke weed, bro.
no 420. Heil Hitler.
1488.
Uh,
But like it's really telling that he's trying to pretend that. Oh God, that actually makes him more contemptible because it does get to him. It does
you're
get to
trying
him,
to
and
be
he
a martyr.
knows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he knows your game is shit. Your ideas are shit, and the way you presented this game is garbage.
and on top of that, you also had the balls to try to scream about
It
being
is.
canceled, or well, you
It
were.
is.
He was
It is.
canceled.
Yeah, it is degenerate art.
Oh yeah, he'd have been thrown in screaming into camp. So that is Iron Eagle. It was it was one of the
Shit.
books of all time.
Garbage.
I
This
can't
thing,
I can't rate
I,
it trash. I can't rate it trash. It's not a YSO. It's just a garbage fire. It was entertaining to watch burn.
we're not going to have it. Should we put it on the top?
It doesn't deserve it. Well,
It
no, no,
does
no.
no.
Actually, no. We should put it up top. And eventually I will add in more. I have to remember
Yeah.
to add in more.
It,
But I want to do it, and here's why. Think about it like this. It's a very sad form of promotion for this book.
yes.
He does want people to know about it, and it'll be right next to Thirsty Sword Lesbians or something.
yeah.
Yes.
No.
uh,
This is what this guy deserves. A
well, chat's
permanent
also
mark.
agreed. Chat's agreeing. 0 out of 10 would not recommend.
A or a yellow star to be put on his coat.
I put this at Jewish blood libel out of 10.
I rated a fuck you out of yes. I was able to learn that through the powers of sodomy and magic that the Nazis were able to win World War II or
But they could
whatever.
not make Umas.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's still fucking like giving me like an existential crisis here. Apparently horses just exist in this world too. What the fuck is that
And they
like?
ride them. And not in that way, or maybe they do. Can you struggle snuggle a horse into being normal, like a furry, if you do it
I
enough? This is
just
these are questions that a Soviet commander that is loosely based on a person named Vaush would ask.
These are
yeah.
questions I never want answered, please. Thank you.
So
Negative
now
mustache man out of 10 from Angel Arroyo.
now that we're done with this, next month's May.
Yeah.
And you know what's illiterate with May? Mecca.
Oh, I thought you wanted to do marine wildlife for whatever reason.
Are there RPGs that allow you to play as marine wildlife?
Manowar,
Rifts.
Rifts as well.
We did the book already, and
Yeah.
Rokea.
Rokea, like we hypothetically have enough of. Nah, we're doing Mecha. We're doing Mecha. It allows us to cover. Oh god. Oh no. That means I might actually have to cover Lancer, and I have no interest in that. Everyone keeps trying
Yay.
to show it to me. Well, not everyone,
get
but
get
people keep trying to show it to me, but it just makes me
get.
not
Yeah,
interested.
I was like, give us ideas of books to do
Well, Mechaton Zeta
in.
we're definitely doing.
Oh, Mecton Zeta. But there's a lot we could do.
Oh, I know
In
what
our
we could do as
Discord,
a
we'll
shitpost.
what?
Think about it. There is a new Gundam Minis game.
Not out yet.
True. Fuck it.
think
We
like
could
that's coming in July. I
well,
think that's in July. I want to say. I could be wrong.
we could do an early celebration by having you bust out your Gunpla collection.
Do you have a Gunpla collection?
I might.
We'll come up with one. I know that we're going to cover at least 2 ideas. There's probably
Yeah.
more that I can think of. But yeah. Oh, and I just realized, like, because of May and mechas, you know what this means? Fuck you, Hypermole. I don't have to read that eye-searing garbage. Suffer,
Oh,
Hypermole.
I'll try to
Suffer in
see if I can.
obscurity, bish.
I'll try to. No, I'll try to see if I can get a better copy than the ash can. will get to them all.
Oh!
Meanwhile,
But well,
we hope
thank you all for
that
attending this, and yeah, hopefully
please support Squeak. Please support this small indie dev's development journey and help him realize his dream of becoming a video game / tabletop developer.
Oh yeah, we
Buy
were gonna
his
show him
book.
off. So we're gonna do that in our Discord instead. We'll show off his video game. You could support him there, I guess.
Yes.
Good night, everyone.
Not y'all.